Gonna be a good show. It's gonna be a good show. Yo, Brian, how you liking those Valley videos Biggie's been posting up?
Yo, is it really like that out there? Like you guys just
Fuck
cause
yeah,
It's the
dude.
mass
fucking,
Dude,
it's the
mayhem.
100%
fucking
it's
Wild
like
West,
that.
dude. It's the
You
Wild
guys have
West,
like
man.
one club where just all this shit goes down that, and I see all
No,
these
it's
videos.
one
Shit.
it's one long street. It's that entertainment district where like all the shit goes down, dude. I'm telling you,
It's not even a
fucking
district, bro.
hilarious.
It's just one It's like one street in a neighborhood. It's not even
That's called a
close to being a
district.
district.
That's called a
It's
district.
called trash. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like people are always banging each other up, and
Next time I come out there, that's the type of fun I want to have. Don't take me to a fucking Chili's,
Don't
bro.
fuck-
Take me to where the
Dude,
fucking the
on it,
fights
take,
are.
take me where the fights
Say
are. And the commentary
less.
is like number no, number
I fucking
no. And what is up? Welcome back. It is Friday night, and you're here with the Average Boys podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I'm here with my two co-hosts, Brian D from New Jersey, and I got Triggs. What's up, Trigger?
Yo,
What's
yo.
going on, my
What's
dudes?
going on, man?
What's going on, boys? How's your week, man? How's your week?
Yo, I'm just
Stressful.
reporting live here from Dune Central in New Jersey. Yeah.
Dune Central. Oh, dude, you guys are getting some wild weather and shit, right? What's going on
Yeah.
over there?
Oh, dude,
Uh,
yeah, man. How are the
the
clouds and shit over there? The
fucking
smog or
raging-
whatever.
Dune Central, you're gonna get trigger started already, dude.
Yeah, I was about to
It's
say
gonna
I
go on
should have
gonna go on
I
his-
should have used my words a lot
Yeah,
a
dude.
lot better because I didn't want to set off triggers.
Arrakis?
Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't-
you see, you already got him, dude. I don't even know what he's
Got
talking
him
about.
up. Got him up. Yeah, no. So there were some forest fires in Canada. I think Nova Scotia.
Fucking
maybe?
Canadians, dude.
It went all the way across the Atlantic, and it touched like I want to say from like past New York all the way down to like North Carolina, some shit like that. And it
I don't
was
know,
just-
dude. You could
Everybody's
literally
getting a
like
piece of that
make
shit.
up a fucking city in Canada, and I'll believe you. Like I don't know
Yeah.
jack dick about
Honestly, I don't even know where it started. I just know that one day I came out of my house and it smelled like fire, and the fucking sky was orange and shit. It was just weird. It was weird.
that. How
Real-
bad is it out there? You know, for like Jersey at least.
For Jersey, it was really bad. The air pollution was astronomical. And it was like it's still pretty bad, but I want to say Wednesday, Thursday, it was like the worst. It was really bad.
Dude, I saw reports, man, saying that like it hasn't been that bad. Like, I mean, it was worse than it was. Sorry, like the pollution, the air pollution now is worse than when on 9/11.
Yeah, so it was
Jeez.
like the worst it's ever been like in the country, I want to say.
Yeah,
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. It looked extremely weird. Like if you look out the window, everything was just orange. The sun was orange. It looked like the end of days, bro. It looked weird.
I don't know how
Just
people. I
gearing
don't know how
up,
y'all
dude,
do
you
it,
know?
man. I don't know how we're doing this in 2024, because I thought 2020 or 2022, 2023. I thought 2022 was bad. And 2023 ain't holding. Like it's just like hold my beer to make it real weird. So
I
like,
just
how
don't
long-
understand how the fuck it traveled that goddamn far, to be honest.
that
with you.
far, right? You know what? And as a matter of fact, we've been getting some really crazy weather down here in the Valley area. A lot of rains, like out of nowhere, just big old pockets of rain and stuff. And
Dude, up here it rains every other day. Like it's ridiculous.
it's
Like,
always like on a Saturday at like 7 p.m. Then it rains ridiculous hail and all this other shit. And then it just stops 30 minutes later and goes back to sunshine and birds and all this other bullshit. And you're like, don't act like I didn't just see that shit. Don't act like we didn't just notice you have a fucking fit. It's been real wild. It's been real wild. But other than that, it's getting hot, man. It's getting hot again. So we're getting ready for that summer. People graduated, a bunch of people, all that stuff, getting ready to do their thing. I have one of my students. I've been training her since she was 8 years old, my little Sophie. She just graduated from high school, got a 2-year scholarship
way to go.
to Syracuse, man, for acting.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Another one of my kids
That's
is a police officer in San Antonio. I just saw today. He just graduated as a police officer over there now. and my student Edgar just graduated, got a scholarship to UTRGV, which is a college here in Edinburgh and all that stuff. So it's good, man. Shit, it's always cool just seeing the little ones grow up. So I'm done teaching kids now, so I'm just teaching my adults, just getting them ready for fights and all that other stuff. So other than that, it's been pretty normal, man. Finally got my hands on Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. So I've been playing that for the last 2 days. Fun game, getting right back into it. Meridian City and People of the Sun and Alloy and all that stuff. So been playing that a little bit. I also ended up buying, this was 2 weeks ago, I bought Starship Troopers Extraction, a PC game dedicated to the Starship Trooper franchise. And I'm a huge fan of Starship Troopers, so I've been jumping on that. And last night, I think they just dropped the Optimus Prime Fortnite fucking update. Dude, you guys excited to see Optimus Prime in Fortnite?
I saw it.
Well, I
That
just saw,
looked pretty good.
saw the new movie, so I mean, I'm
Yo,
kinda
okay,
Optimus
so
Primed
how
out.
did it go? How did it go with the new movie?
Dude, honestly, it wasn't bad, man. You know, I'd give it like a very soft 7 out of 10.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Comparing it to like what were the other ones? Rise of the Extinction and
Or just
Dark Side of-
the Michael Bay trilogy.
yeah, the whole trilogy, right? He had a trilogy of them.
No, Saga.
Oh shit! So he had,
Yeah,
he
so
had
it's
that
5
more than
movies.
3.
You know, but honestly, like the first one wasn't bad. Believe it or not, I actually do kind of like the fourth one, the first one with Mark Wahlberg. I don't know what I kind of like that one.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I kind of like that one. And then after that, yeah, everything else kind of sicked. But this one was really cool, man. You know, even Bumblebee was kind of cool. But this one was really cool because I did not expect me to like Pete Davidson's character as much as I did. Because he plays
which
Mirage.
one does he play?
He plays Mirage, the Porsche.
Oh, okay, good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
And
Brian, what about
Yeah,
you,
man.
dude? Like, which one of the Transformers movies is like your favorite? That's a really hard question. His fucking face, dude.
Right?
Just
Do I gotta
cringe,
have
dude.
one?
He's like, oh,
I was gonna
fuck,
say,
can't ask you
like,
this
do
shit.
I have
Oh,
to ask?
fuck.
I
Yeah.
have to answer that. I don't know, man. The first one was pretty cool. I really wasn't a big fan of the Transformers like movies. Like
Yeah,
I wasn't like the whole Michael Bay experience was better than the movies themselves. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like
No,
all
no,
the
that makes perfect
explosions,
sense. Yeah,
like
that's kind of
the
what he goes for, isn't it? It's like his
explosions,
MO. His
the
MO is
the orange lens, like
Yeah.
that was cool. Like the shots.
His,
were
yeah,
cool.
his cinematography is very
Yeah.
very cool.
I just remember him being like, "You guys run. I'm just gonna blow stuff up."
Yeah.
Like that's what I remember him. Even in interviews, he was like, "Someone was running, and we made the biggest explosion that's ever been in cinematic history." And I'm like, "Who the fuck cares, bro? Like, just you're like, I mean, don't kill your actors, but just
I mean,
make it
fucking
decent film.
dude. You know, speaking of firsts, I mean, Christopher Nolan was the first person to ever
blow up a
front
building or
flip.
something."
No, front flip a semi in Dark Knight.
Wait, is that like? Do you get like Xbox rewards for that or what? Like,
Yeah, dude.
What does that
it's
even
a,
mean?
Yeah, it's a Screen Guild of
you
America.
get the little beep in
Yeah,
your
you know.
life, and it's like doo doo doo, like in Xbox and shit.
Yeah, or like in World of
Achievements?
Warcraft or World First. You know.
Bro, I'll go flip a semi right now. I don't give a fuck. Like
Yeah,
I
but he
didn't even know you
front
can get
flipped it. It
achievements
was
for
just
this
like
shit.
boom.
Dude, I'll do that shit for free, man. They don't even got to pay me. I just always thought those movies were uber silly. I didn't think they really correlated too much with the like cartoons from back in the day. I mean, of course, like Transformers and what was that one cartoon back in the 80s? The fucking Cybertron one, the one where fucking Optimus Prime like dies because he gives the fucking spark away or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, so something with something with Unicron.
Yeah, that shit killed me as a kid. I was balling. I thought Optimus Prime was dead, dude. It was crazy as fuck when I was a kid. But like, I don't know. It's just the cinematography for Michael Bay's films are really cool because there was always all this action and crazy shit that was going on, and he just knew how to sell. It was almost like a you remember Gone in 60 Seconds?
Mhm.
I actually just watched that last night.
It was literally like the action sequences in Gone in 60 Seconds for like a 2-hour film straight. Like that's all it felt like. But nothing made sense. Nothing made sense. Like you look at the demo, like what was it, the geography of the Nile River or the ocean compared to the pyramids of Giza. Like they're not even like you. There's a part. Do you remember in the first movie, right? They're in the battleship, and that one dude that plays he's in the Batman movie playing the mobster. But he's the weird CIA agent in that one. I forgot that actor's name, but he's the conspiracy guy. Yeah, nobody remembers his name. He's a conspiracy guy, and I remember he goes, "Look at the pyramids in the battleship," and the guy looks through the telescope, and he can see the transformer climbing the pyramids of Giza. Do you remember that part of the movie?
I do, yeah.
That geographically is not correct. You cannot see the pyramids with any type of telescope from the ocean from that distance. Like that was like baffling to me. Like that baffled me like crazy. And then the other one was in part 2. They're gonna get what's his fucking Megatron back, right? And Megatron's like underwater. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And what is it? 8 robots. They're like, we have 7 bogies. And then all of a sudden they go down into the water. They destroy one of the transformers, and they use his parts to bring back Megatron. And then all of a sudden they're like, we have 8 bogies coming back to the surface. And it's like, wait, you destroyed one. That's physically impossible. Math would just be like 7 minus 1, adding 1 is still 7. So there was just like weird knickknacks that always caught my eye. Or what was the other one? The fucking at the beginning of the movie with the spark. Optimus Prime has the spark in his hand, and it's the size of his fucking hand, right? Like he's holding it like a fucking remote control, and then he hands it to Shia LaBeouf, and then he's holding it in his hand like it's a remote control. Like size, like the what is it? The what's that shit called, dude? When it consistency or whatever in between shots. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like how did it change shape? There's just a bunch of weird shit. So I like after that one, I really didn't even care to watch the other films. I did end up watching the Bumblebee movie though. And the Bumblebee movie, the Solo was it was pretty fun. That was a pretty cool film. I really dug that one.
I'm not gonna lie, I think the new one, Rise of the Beast or whatever, I think that's connected to Bumblebee.
Oh, okay. So it's like the same Bumblebee from that story kind of thing?
So the reason I say that is because he's still a Camaro and his voice is bad. And that's the one, like my biggest gripe of the whole movie, was I was like, dude, how is it that like Bumblebee still can't talk? Like, why is that still a thing? There's only 3 movies that you ever hear Bumblebee speak. The first Transformers movie, the last Transformers movie, and Bumblebee. And he speaks probably for a grand total of 2 minutes.
Oh, shit. So, okay, so like in this film, like the whole thing was it to look more like the original cartoon. Did you get that vibe from watching this one?
Well, I watched Beast Wars like when I was a kid. That was my thing, and I whatchamacallit, I kind of remember the Beast Wars story, a little bit, like, but not really, really well. But there was very few, like, I think there's only one instance where, like, they actually ever interacted. So that was like never really a thing. I don't really remember Unicron also being there, but I think
no, I don't think he was not in the original cartoon.
And so, as far as like sticking to the source material, yes, there are some like there's something that happens later on and it involves one of the human characters and they become a lot more prominent and their role
Megan Fox,
like their role elevates really, really like big and they become very integral in a very important way. And that is very comic book accurate.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool. And you'd get this what? Would you say you're gonna give it like a 7
very
out of 10?
soft
Do you recommend it or
7 out of
what?
10.
Do you recommend it to be seen? Do you recommend us to go watch it or what?
Fire stick it.
Oh, good call, good call. But you know what? I do got to give it up because that fucking popcorn box looks legit as shit. Brian, have you seen the fucking
The truck?
Optimus Prime popcorn box?
The truck?
Yeah.
Shit looks ass.
You don't like
You're
it?
paying 50. It was like $50, $60 for that.
I fucking hope not. Dude, I don't even know why people would pay $50 for any other fucking movie shit that's like that. Let's say it's 27.
There's just no way it's 27. All right, even if it's 27, I think I'm not paying for that. Like, listen,
Rob's like,
I'm
hey,
I'm just happy you guys are reliving your
childhood nostalgia.
Transformers movie shit because I could not stand those movies. I have nothing to add to this at all. And
But
I don't
you
want to be
said-
toxic.
You couldn't really
I
watch
don't-
the old ones either, right?
Yeah, I don't want to be toxic, but like I could not stand those movies. Like the first two were pretty cool, but then after that there was just no interest.
It kind of trickles, right? Did you ever this was for me when I would watch it. I appreciated the fact that there was so much technology done on the CG to make the characters look like as proportionate to vehicles and to make it make sense. But sometimes I lose my marbles when when they're all on the same scene and everybody's doing a bunch of shit and there's fights going on. Sometimes I just can't focus on what's going on.
That, believe it or not, that was actually a gripe that a lot of people had. And
It's a lot, dude. It's a lot.
Because there's a lot of, they actually kind of fix that in this movie. So
Gotcha.
everybody isn't like a same color scheme. Like
Which movie
everyone's
was that? Which movie was the one with the twins, with like the annoying ass twins, or
Second
like
one.
the second one, right?
movie? No,
Yeah,
no.
It was the
That was
second
the
one, right?
first movie.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was the second one.
Because that's
It
the
was-
pyramid one, isn't it?
Yeah, you got it wrong. You weren't
Yeah,
right.
it's the second one. It's
Yeah,
definitely
it
the
was
second one. And I remember that, and I remember it was the
You're
second one because
stupid. You're
'cause that's
fucking
why
Oh,
I'm-
idiot.
yeah. You're stupid.
like
Fucking all
I'm
mad
sitting
at me.
here and I'm
Idiot.
watching it, and I was like, "This is the last Transformer movie I'm ever watching in my life, bro." And that was the last one. It was because of
It's-
those two characters. I was
Oh,
just,
yeah, they were
man,
annoying
he
as fuck,
died.
And then for them to be
Guy,
like, "Oh, we made some original characters. You guys are gonna really like them and shit."
yeah, no, I was good.
I'm gonna see if I can fucking find at least one fight scene from this, so we can at least try to see like one of the, like just an example of just the sheer nonsense on screen.
I mean, we don't need to, dude.
Are we really about to watch that fucking
Yeah,
Transformers
no,
fight
we're
scene?
not.
No,
doing
I'm
that. We
talking
don't-
about like
we don't need to do
we're
that.
taking it fucking way back to this day, dude. I won't put any sound on it or anything like that. But this is where it was like, oh, that's like the biggest explosion in cinema history. Which, I mean, Alzheimer's or what's that? Oppenheimer's about to blow that one out of the water. dude.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, do whatever they're going to call it.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, but I don't know what they're going to call it. But there's like,
Hey man, put
there's
some
just-
respect on his name, dude.
put some respect on that fucking.
Yeah, dude,
movie.
Robert Oppenheimer. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What is that about, dude? Tell me about it. Explain
It's
it to me real
about the
quick while
man
we're
who
looking for
created
this.
the atomic bomb. He's the one who developed. It was his, and he was the progenitor of the Manhattan Project, which is
Yeah.
the team who created the first atomic bomb, and then they sent them to Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Ish.
So I mean, dude, that guy worked very closely with Albert
Like,
Einstein.
look at that. Look at this shit on screen, dude. Like,
Yeah,
Man,
and
CG
like
was
with
rough
this,
back
like
then,
you
bro.
know how there's like a whole
Look at
like a
that
lot
right
of
there.
bland colors and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's very difficult to follow. Yeah, and like in this movie, everyone is colored very differently, so you know like what's happening at least a little bit more.
God, dude, it was messy. And then watching this, like up in front of everybody, like in the screen, like it's wild, dude. No respect for history. Okay. Fuck Star Wars.
He says while not even
Transformers.
being able to pronounce Robert Oppenheimer's name.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, back to it. Yeah, man, there were certain scenes that, in Transformers that
He's from Minot? Really?
Oh, what's up, David? Good to see you, man. North Dakota, Josh Duhamel.
Yeah, Demel.
Is that the dude from the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
soldier?
the soldier dude, right?
Yeah.
Well, he was fucking Hitman, wasn't he?
No. That's Timothy Oliphant.
Is that not the same guy?
No.
What the fuck,
Yeah,
dude?
dude, you're a fake movie buff, dude. You're a poser,
Someone's dad's got an
Dude.
explanation to say.
Dude, you're a fucking
Someone's got some
poser,
explaining
dude.
to do. Those guys look exactly the same, dude.
They look nothing alike, dude. Just because they're white, right?
All right, boys. Yeah, it's because they're white. White people look the same. Yo, onwards to some nerdy shit. I do have something that's kind of out of the blue that I did want to talk about. I saw it this week. It did catch my eye. I do like to cover some stuff when it comes to technology, but did you boys catch the Apple Vision drop and trailer for this thing?
Yeah.
I did.
What did you
All I
see?
know is that it's coming. I didn't watch any kind of video on it because I could give no less of a fuck than I do now.
Dude, it actually sounds pretty wild on paper. Like on
Do
paper.
not care.
You're gonna care, Trigger. You're gonna care right fucking now.
Probably.
All
won't.
right. So Apple released a trailer this past week in a big event covering their new augmented
Reality.
VR system. And it looks pretty interesting, man. It really, really does. It has forward-facing cameras and backward-facing cameras, and it actually shows your eyes on the outside screen while you can see from the inside to the outside. So the reason why they're not technically VR glasses or goggles is because it's augmented reality. It blends it into your surroundings and stuff. And all it's doing is it's literally a MacBook that's put on goggles in augmented reality. I think that's pretty cool, man. Like there's so many applications. Have you guys ever do you guys mess with VR a lot, or are you guys familiar with like VR in the last several years and stuff?
I am. I actually, me and Audrey have a pair of VR goggles. I believe my sister-in-law has them, but we actually have messed with them. We have yet. I take that back. She has messed with it a little bit on her old computer. I would have loved to have tried it out on my computer and kind of like really done that. There are some Steam VR games that I would love to get, but you know, I think I might just get like my own set and then kind of like mess with it. Speaking of, there actually are some AR VR glasses that are out there. They're called Nreal.
Yeah.
And they're like $400, dude. $350, $400. But like, I mean, they connect to PS5, to Switch, to Steam Decks, to your phone, you know, and I mean, you can pretty much watch movies and shit like that. I mean, I think
Those are
they're
the ones that
perfect.
offer the monitor, right? Like they're like just monitors on a screen that you can kind of like, what is it?
Not necessarily. Like you can do some stuff, but it's not like interactive joysticks or anything like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
little like just think of like a pair of fucking Ray-Bans that you put over your face, and it's kind of like that VR experience.
Okay, cool. What about you, Brian? Do you ever mess with like VR and all that stuff or no?
I remember we actually talked about it on the show. I want to say about a year or two ago. When I was trying to tell people, VR isn't the future. It's actually AR. AR is the future. A lot of companies have been putting a lot of research into AR over the past couple of years. Specifically, Google, Apple, Nintendo, Sony. These are the companies that if you are in the stock market, you should start doing your due diligence because AR
They're
is
the ones
going
that are making the push, right?
AR is going to be the future. They and even in this this whatever you call it, like this broadcast or whatever it was called, they're predicting or they're pushing it as going to be the replacement of a cell phone, the replacement of a computer. So whether you're into it or not, this is what they're pushing moving forward. A lot of people, I know the backlash that I've been hearing is that it looks a lot bulky. It looks like it's uncomfortable. But I do think like at some point they will get it right. And I still think that AR is going to be the future. I think that's where a lot of these companies are pushing moving forward.
So you
Well,
think
you remember
like
those Google Glass?
I
like
do remember.
the first
Yeah, I do
edition
remember
ARs?
Google Glass.
So
Yeah.
that was still technically like VR as pertaining to the ability and the functionality of the Google glasses. Listen, VR isn't new. Like
No,
VR
no,
has
no. I'm
been
talking
around.
No,
about the
it's been around
Google
since the
Glass.
60s.
Like that was
You
true
know,
AR.
yeah, no, but that was like their first type of like
Attempts.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was their first
that
attempt
came
at
that
it.
came that came and went like overnight. Like the price point was just too expensive, and no one gave a fuck about it. But everything moving forward is looking in that direction. Personally, so that's what I think.
So what do you gentlemen in your opinions prefer? Do you prefer like the VR opportunity or the AR opportunity?
I mean, personally, AR. You know, like, I mean, it's gonna come down to people who have corrective lenses. Everyone wears glasses of some kind. At almost all points of the day. You have your douchebags who wear their sunglasses at night. You have your, business professionals and regular
I
old
had a
people
lot
who
of
need corrective lenses who wear their glasses all day. You even have people like me who wear contacts and
Dang,
glasses.
Trix, you put a lot of
you know.
emphasis on those douchebags part, man.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's
That's
weird,
a little
man.
rough with that, goddamn.
Yeah, fuck them. What are they gonna do? Hit me? Can't see me. But yeah, I mean, like, I agree. I think AR really is gonna be like the future. I mean, yeah, when Google Glass came out, I mean, like their base model was $1,000.
Yeah.
Their more expensive one was like $1,200 or something like that.
Yeah, just
I
looking
only
at the price
saw
right now,
I
the
only
Meta
saw
Quest Pro is
one,
1,000.
like 1 or 2 Google Glass ever, and that was at QuakeCon 2014. That was it.
See, like for me, like I think the idea of augmented reality is more based on the industrial future. Do you see yourself in 10, 15 years walking around the city with a pair of headsets on and that only have like a 3 to 4 hour, I guess, time limit on how long you can use them? And then walking around with them, and then when you're not using them, you put them away in your backpack, but they're like the size of they're like this. Watch. I'll bring
Must be
mine.
big if must be big if he's still fumbling around.
You what?
It must be big if you're still fumbling around.
It's my drone. I have my FPV.
Oh yeah, those
Yeah,
glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar to these, I guess, because you have your box goggles, right? This is what I use for mine. And look, dude, there's my boys right there, man. Got a rep on my goggles, boys. You're considering taking something like this around in your purse or your everyday bag, but like with this, like I carry it in some type of casing, right? And this by itself, when I first bought it, it was like $300.
That's some pretty good autofocus, man. I was just watching that right now.
Huh?
I said that was some pretty good autofocus right now, dude. Like,
Yeah, thank yeah, get it up to the M50, man.
yeah,
Woo.
man. Yeah, dude.
Give
Look
it
at
to
that.
the M50. You're looking at something that's probably going to be roughly the same size, if not. These are considered small in the FPV
FPV
realm.
world.
Yeah, and then they have, of course, binocular style, which are a little bit more sleek. The Ferraris of them, you know what I mean?
Dude, the
Which is, I guess,
DJIs look
similar.
pretty sick, dude.
Which one?
The DJIs look pretty sick.
Oh, dude, the DJIs are. Oh, well, okay. So you're familiar with the DJI FPV goggles, right? Like the way they are. Imagine carrying something like that in your bag all day to do like AR functions, when you can literally like we were talking about earlier, where Brian said it's gonna one day substitute the cell phone. You know what I mean? But can they get it to something that's like a minute size that you can carry fashionably and be okay with it? Like,
So
well,
I know this is gonna sound super, like super left field, but like I think the practicality of this particular product is something very, very like I'm not gonna say possible, but seems most likely, or like has a very likely function.
Yeah.
And I hate to bring up this franchise, but if anyone has ever seen the Sword Art franchise, if they've ever seen the movie Ordinal Scale, it deals primarily in AR, not VR, AR. And that's one of the things that they're wearing. They're wearing like this like new weird nerve gear thing, and they put it over their ear, and it like attaches like along their eye socket, and like that's how they perceive in AR.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds fucking cool. I mean,
Do you
yeah,
guys
well,
do you guys remember the first iPhone?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like if you look at a picture of the first iPhone, it's ugly, right? It's
Yeah, it's
ugly.
very bulky.
It's bulky.
Or
Yeah.
I mean, better yet, the first cell phone. I mean, that thing was a fucking brick, dude.
It's
No,
going
no, no.
to
But
get
we're. I know what you're doing. You're like anchoring it, and then you've had so many iterations. Like that's a good anchor.
yeah.
'cause you can
So
see
like
how
at
it's
some point,
changed.
it's gonna get to it's gonna get to a better version. Again, so that's why I originally said like this this type of I guess glasses or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, it's gonna look weird. But I do think that at some point they'll get it together and it'll be exactly what they think it's gonna be.
Well, kind of on your point, Brian. What I've noticed that a lot of companies are starting to do is they're trying to future proof their products. So what I mean by that is like they're making their product, and they're making their product in a way and a style that's going to last, that like is going to continue its practicality for generations next. You know, that it's not just going to be stagnant, or you know, it's not going to just be a fucking brick. You know, because like when the bricks came out, you know, the brick cell phones, everyone had one and they were fucking huge and stuff like that. When they started getting small and small and smaller, I mean, you know, like I was on Twitter the other day and I remember like when cell phones were quite literally just this size.
Yeah, dude, I literally was talking about that a while back. Where I remember when cell phones they made like they literally advertised for the world's smallest cell phone, and it had a little like kick, like a little microphone you just kick out and you can talk on it. It was real tiny. And in my mind, I'm like, now that I look back at it, I'm like, dude, why the fuck were we scrambling for such tiny cell phones? Because now they went back and turned into little computers, dude. You know what I mean? It's super crazy.
Yeah. So I mean,
I mean, but you guys can see the positivity of what it is that Apple's doing with this type of format, right? Like they're making it to where you can, it's literally a MacBook or like a iPad Pro MacBook. And you can literally get into all your files, all your programs, literally just by looking and saying something and then clicking your finger and doing it. It has eye tracking. It has no remote. You literally do everything with your fingers. And it all
I know
the
Microsoft was also doing something like that.
Yeah,
I
it's all
forget
gesture
what it was
stuff.
like. I forget what they were calling it. I think it was like Microsoft Vision or some shit like that.
the images and the GIFs and the PNGs and all the imaging that's in the phone in the process literally shadows around objects in your room while you're walking around. So it literally makes it look like they're actual tangible items in the world. You can do almost full face recognition and full face conversations like the way we're doing it right now with
Stay
the goggles
hydrated,
on
Brian.
in person. Yeah, dude, everybody's bottled up, bro. We're all bodybuilding today, dude. Look at us.
Not me,
Oh yeah,
bro.
except Triggs. All
Not
bodybuilding.
me.
All bodybuilding. Doing jugs of water today, dude. All bodybuilding. But
Stay hydrated,
yeah, man,
fellas.
I saw this and I was like, I was really impressed with the way that they put the format out. Like I was real like, okay, cool. Like that's a big move for Apple to be doing, and it looks very well. Like, I mean, I've had the opportunity. I have an Oculus Quest 2. I love playing with that thing a lot. And where I find myself in that is in the theater function for social events. So what they have in that is they have a theater app that you can get into. And when you go into the theater app, you can watch films amongst other people that are interested in watching the same films. And then while you're there, you can talk to them, you know, be cool and watch. I've sat in a couple of anime series and sat there and watched with people, like while I sit on my chair in my bed and just watch films with other people and get to like commentate with them and talk about what we liked about the film and stuff. So the social idea in VR and augmented reality, I feel are very nice. It's a very good way to get out and do stuff. I mean, it doesn't substitute reality, but I do like the exchange that it offers in that. I mean, I can see it also in business sense on how you can use it to like, okay, so I don't know if you guys ever seen this, but did you guys ever see the video of the mechanics using augmented reality that's explaining where certain parts go? Like a long time ago, it was like a floating video.
Yeah.
and the guys are wearing glasses and they're looking at a vehicle and it's telling them like, this is how you put on the filter, this is how you take out the alternator, and it's breaking down all the pieces for them. And I had been so impressed by that video for years, because the idea of knowing that, like, I don't know, man, just think of the possibilities, what it could be. Like, let's say you break something in your house and you don't have the money to get it fixed, but I guess you have the $3,500 to buy the Apple VR set, and there's a vision for that, so you can fix these things. You could fix your air condition, you could fix the TV, you could do a bunch. Man, it blows my mind with that type of technology. Blows my fucking mind. So yeah, the number one thing that I saw about it that was the biggest concern was the price of one of these used units is the price of a 2004 Honda Civic. How do you guys feel about the price of this unit, and do you think it's a little out of this world?
I could probably get more function out of a 2004 Honda Civic.
Brian, what about you? $3,500 for one of these units.
I don't think I would pay for one, but I can see someone making a argument as to buying it. I wouldn't look at someone weird for buying it.
Okay. What do you think would be a really good argument to buy one of these?
As far as I'm concerned, if you feel as though it's something that you can
Afford,
utilize, and you can afford, then go for it. Listen, people are
I
putting
think that's kind of
iPhones.
like where
people are putting iPhones on layaway. People are financing iPhones. So who am I to judge what you're spending your money on? People are buying the most expensive VR headsets, and it's just
it's wild, man. When I saw the price, it just blew my fucking mind. Like, because then again, it's like you were saying earlier when you mentioned, like, you guys remember the first iPhone? Mm-hmm. But then again, it's like, how many different iterations of the iPhone have we had since then, with them just being like, oh, we added 2 screws. Oh, we took the 3.5 millimeter jack away and made it just the lightning round or lightning rod or lightning jack or whatever. And they just always, Apple has this thing where they're always doing the minimal when it comes to the next variation. And it's like, okay, if we're starting off from the very, very cusp blueprint of what it is that this thing is at $3,500, like, what are they going to do next, and how much are they going to add to that margin?
If you have $3,500 to invest in the hardware, I would dump $3,500 into Apple as well.
Right, just on a whim, just jump into the fucking stock. Like, spend that money somewhere else that you're going to get that money back. I don't know. It just seems really wild for me, man. Like, buying something that's just so whimsical for the idea of, but then again, techies are wild, dude.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna pay for it regardless. They're gonna buy them either way. They're gonna buy it regardless. Yeah,
they're gonna buy it either way. They're gonna find a way. They'll sell a kidney or do whatever.
Like that. Yeah, like, this is like some big hardcore shit. Like, I can't sit here and say, oh, you guys are dumb for buying this, because techies buy expensive shit all the goddamn time. So it's like, it's
super that, like, you know, and like, people in the tech community and stuff like that, they find a use for it. You know,
yeah, because if you're gonna spend that much, you gotta have some use for it.
Exactly what Chris was talking about beforehand. You know, like, with trying to find projects that you could, use these particular things for. You know, I mean, people will find a way to justify the purchase that way. And let's say I were to spend $3,500 fucking dollars on one of these, right? And I'm doing home projects and shit like that in my own house. I'm sure these glasses will pay for themselves, and the money that I'll save in not having to hire somebody to fucking do it when I can just do it myself. If I were to ever go that route. Like I said, people will find a use for them. I particularly don't have a use for them. This is something completely out of my realm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is kind of like a niche audience, I'm guessing.
Very.
Very niche. A very niche audience, man. But yeah, that's just something I just wanted to see. I saw it this week and I was very impressed by it. I wanted to bring it up to you guys. I know we don't really talk too much techie stuff, but yeah, man, it was just something I wanted to see. What else do you got? All right, we just got done talking Transformers a little while ago. I have to ask you guys. You guys, of course, had the opportunity, really cool opportunity last week of going to go see Spider-Verse. I am still very behind, and I have not had the opportunity to go see it. Hopefully, I get to see it this weekend. Praying to God, I just keep adding money to these people somewhat into the weekend. But this coming week is something important. This coming week, The Flash comes out. Boys, are you going to go see it?
I am. Yes.
Definitely early. Or are you going to wait a couple days, or are you just going to try to get in there like opening day?
I'm gonna see when I can.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna see it opening day, but I'll see it eventually. I know that the projection sales are very low, so there's not gonna be a shortage of tickets. So I'll get to it when I get to it. But I am gonna see it opening weekend though.
As a matter of, so you're saying production sales are meant to be that it looks like it's gonna be low?
The projection sales are predicting this is gonna be a fucking flop.
Are you? Whoa, that's crazy. But that makes sense in the sense of like, have you noticed that they've been very giving when it comes to how many tickets they've been giving away for early screening and early reviews and stuff? Like right now, as a matter of fact, I can show you guys that there is actually you can sign up to go see the Warner Brothers. You can get free tickets. And I think it's still going on right now. If you sign up with Warner Brothers to do the early screening, there's a possibility for you to win tickets to go see it for free. And they're still doing it right now. And there's been a couple of people I've seen on my friends list that are doing it. And it's pretty wild, man, because it's like, I didn't even know they were offering tickets for free, like for people to go watch it.
No one is buying these pre-sale tickets. The pre-sale tickets have been, I mean, you could have bought your tickets weeks ago, and no one's buying the tickets.
There's no selling outs. There's no nothing like that.
Nope.
You know what? I'm gonna look right now. I'm gonna try and get tickets and see how available they are right now.
Yeah, because in my mind, I would think like, okay, cool. With like the way talks have been going and the advertisement and stuff, you would assume that this movie would be like that. They would make really, really good projections at the beginning. But like I said, like I have been noticing that they are giving away like, yeah, guys were there last week at the Cinemark watching it like last Thursday here in the Valley. People were posting about it, getting free tickets and going to go watch it. So like,
listen, if just again, and I from a business perspective, if I have something that I know that people are going to watch and that I don't, and I'm not scared of people not going to see it, I'm not giving away free tickets. I'm not looking for Tom Cruise or whoever the fuck.
Yeah,
to
fucking people to advertise for it for
like
free.
all these little things, like it just may look
Fear.
like random or whatever, but what it says to me is that this movie is probably going to flop.
Dude, I can count how many seats have been sold for a 7:20 showing, advanced showing at one of the auditoriums here in Cone.
That's fucking wild, dude.
11 seats for 7:20 showing. That's fucking prime time, dude. Wow.
This is projected to be a fucking flop, and this is with all of the reviews saying it's the best movie ever.
Is way different. That was standard seating. XD is way different. You know, like still that's I mean, nothing to write home about. Dude, the 10:05
blows my fucking mind, dude.
All seats are available.
And I'm telling you, like this is something that they're aware of, like DC, like they're aware of this shit, and so that's the reason why you're. And I'm not gonna say that they're paying these A-list directors and actors to give them a vouch of a good word for their movie, but I would see a reality where they are paying these people to say something positive about their movie so they can actually get butts in seats, and why they're giving away free tickets. Yeah. So like that's all that screams to me.
It's real crazy because like with all the things that have been going on over the past couple of months, you would assume that this movie was going to be like just crazy, making money, and Ezra Miller was going to be on top of the world for a bit.
Yeah, but we also kind of saw like this coming. We all knew that like people are either going to go see it and say that this is like they want to go see the dumpster fire, or nobody's going to have any interest in it whatsoever.
Yeah. True that.
Why do you think this is? Why I want to ask you guys a question. Why do you think the projections are so low for this movie?
I don't know, man.
After
Well, I
all the
mean,
reviews came out and people were just raving about it, why do you think people aren't seeing this movie?
so just off the top of my head, the studio knows it's a fucked up situation with Ezra Miller. Like they know it is, and they're like, it's not gonna work. Like nothing we're gonna do is gonna fix this. People hate this guy. You know, we're not gonna shake it. And the director is like, you do what I tell you because it's my movie, and you've already put all this money into it. Like to me, that's pretty much what it is. Like there's nothing else there. Like it just sounds like it's like you were saying earlier, like them getting all these people to come in and say it's great, giving away free tickets and telling people to only post up positive reviews because we're doing this because we're being nice. It's all fear tactics. It's like someone that's scared, someone that's trying to bloat their own shit and ask people to help them out. Like, I don't know. It's an awkward situation. It's really, really weird.
Do you think that it may be the backlash of Ezra Miller and his antics, or do you think people just don't have any faith in any DC movies right now? What do you guys think it is? Or a combination. It could be a combination.
Yeah,
of all
like I think it's more of a combination. Like, but if I was to kind of like scale as to what it is, I would scale it on the factor of that people do kind of feel awkward with supporting this person that did these bad things, and they know it was bad. Compared to like DC having bad movies, like yeah, I get that, but like if you go back to like the Justice League and the Snyderverse films, the Flash was like the best thing in that film. Like he had the best parts, the funniest roles, and all that stuff. So like if you were gonna tell me you were gonna make a movie about him and Aquaman, I would be more excited to see the Flash guy because he carried the movie in a different way to me compared to anyone else in that film.
This is a weird situation.
Yeah, dude, it's really hard to explain. It's just I really feel
your
like,
main character, your main character, the guy that's the actor that's playing your main character has a gag order on the red carpet. He cannot speak.
That was
to
one of the
anyone
things I
on
wanted
the
to talk
red
to you guys
carpet.
about. So what you're talking about is the fact that at the red carpet for the film, which will be this week, possibly like on Thursday, I'm guessing, that Ezra Miller will be on site, but he's got a gag order. They're not going to allow him to speak to anybody publicly.
I think
Why?
it's more the fact. I think that most of I don't think the reporters have access to anyone. I don't think. I think
Yeah, they
that's
do.
the way that I think that's the way that they're setting this up. I don't know if it's because that would be weird if it was like if they were able to talk to everyone and then you just
But the main
excluded
guy,
him. But I think if I were them, what I would do is I would just have no reporters speak to anyone about anything, nothing. No, everyone has a gag order. No one can speak to anyone. I don't want to single out Ezra Miller because that's a weird optic.
my boy John Castillo from Corpus Christi. What's up, brother? He just put up a really good question. He says, I would say the choices of Ezra Miller are what is preventing people from liking this movie. And then he put,
See that?
people are excited for the Flash film, yes, but are turning away from Ezra Miller. What is it? The silver lining is what is its silver lining for bringing Michael Keaton into the film, but also perhaps a saving grace for the DC fans and anything else, anybody that watches. I mean, yeah, and that's because John is a really big DC fan. Like I've known John like literally my whole life, and I know that he is probably by far one of the biggest people that's been a supporter of the DC Studios franchises, gone to see every film, supports all their films. Whenever a movie comes out, even if it's good or bad, still says, you know what, I liked it because it's live action and I finally get to see these characters come to life. And even himself is saying that he even being open-minded, forgiving of something that goes wrong, is saying, well, I don't know, man, the Ezra Miller guy is really turning a lot of people away. Like that factor that him as a person, Ezra Miller, is still a factor in people's decisions, or at least acknowledgments to the film, means whatever he's done is sitting incorrectly in the way people think. Like that's,
as it should.
Yeah, that's truly valued. That's 100%. Anybody that has that opinion about this person is 100% in the right. Like there that shouldn't be something where you feel awkward about, or that you feel you have to do it any other way. Like he did make some very horrible decisions in his life, and he did it in the situation when he was in the limelight, and it's just something that we now notice because he's famous. You know, we don't know how long these situations have been going on in his life. We don't know if this is like an outburst of, like, I mean, because a lot of people compared it to like the Robert Downey Jr. situation, right? But the thing to me is like Robert Downey Jr. had that whole Hollywood Lindsay Lohan situation where like they started off in the beginning making films, doing a bunch of stuff, and then doing like all the extreme partying, and then losing, kind of like the Mike Tyson life, or any of those people that get into that situation where they acquire power and money and then they lose control and then fall and then come back. Ezra Miller, I don't know.
I
if his
see
situation-
I see the comparison on
Yeah.
the grand scale, like
Yeah.
on the big picture, but I think it's a little bit different in the analogy that you're using because Robert Downey was only hurting himself. He wasn't
Yes.
physically out there hurting
He wasn't
other
physically
people.
assaulting other people. Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to
And
like
that's a big difference.
yeah, I don't want to do it to where it's like, because that's why I don't want to compare it to Robert Downey. You know, bless the man. He's raised from fruition, and you know, fucking he saved his own life. Same thing like Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? These guys, they all had like horrible upbringings and hard lives and stuff, and they were able to save themselves. But Ezra Miller is still like this fresh new face in Hollywood when this all started off. You know what I mean? Like even before, like I think you said this before. Like, well, what else has this guy done other than the fucking Harry Potter movies that he was in? Like, what else has this guy done that's anything of that level, where he's in like these two major franchise films? And my thing is like he hasn't really made a lot of like stakes in Hollywood where he's been at it a long time. And I want to say, like, do you think that all of this like outburst in crazy lifestyle, is this the beginning of those type of patterns in those people's lifestyles in Hollywood? Like, are we looking at the beginning of like the fall of like when Lindsay Lohan fell off of hers, or like the fall of like Conor McGregor when he rose to the top and was a very influential fighter, and then all of a sudden he just started to lose control? Like,
Well,
are we watching this in the Hollywood variation?
Again,
You know what I'm saying, though, right? Am I making sense?
You're making sense, but what I'm saying
Okay.
is, for me, I look into people's actions, and I pay close attention to that as opposed to what someone will just tell me. So I feel as though Warner Brothers and DC specifically feel like this could be a pattern because they're not allowing this person to speak at the red carpet. They still feel like he is a live
A
wire
liability.
and that he can say something really off-putting that will keep people from seeing this movie. Again, you have to read into people's actions. Like, you can have as many people tell me that this is going to be the best comic book movie of all time, but the people that are putting the money behind this movie aren't letting, after everything that's been done, he's put out his apology, everything that's been said, they're still not allowing him to speak. What does that say to you? That there's still something up.
they
They
don't
still
trust
don't
him.
have faith. They still
Yeah,
don't
they don't
have
trust him.
any. They still don't have any faith that they can keep a leash on this person.
Do you okay, Triggs and Brian? I have to ask this before the whole gag order thing kind of comes to fruition and we see it in person. Do you think it would be smart to actually have Ezra Miller make a declaration or something at this event and not let him speak to people individually, but have him come out and course a conversation in the sense of like you know how YouTubers do their apology videos? Like, would this be, I guess that's the question. Would this be the time for him to make a public apology for all the?
Absolutely not.
Okay, all right. I'm just asking Brian. What about you?
Absolutely
Like, would
not.
this be the point when he needs to apologize for all his actions?
He could have
and
done that
save it
months
for
ago.
this?
He could have
He
done
did
that
that
months
already.
ago.
Yeah, no, he already
You
did
want to
that.
do that during your fucking biggest release in your career? You want to put out your apology right now? Not only are you a fucking moron, the people who employ you are also
Okay.
fucking
I
morons.
just wanted to make sure we were on the same page with that
I
because I
mean,
really
listen,
think
I'm gonna be honest with you. As a content creator, I would love for this to happen because then that would just give us a topic to talk about.
Don't
But
get me
like
wrong. Yeah, that would
in
be
reality,
great, right? We would be
yeah,
like, bro.
action. Yeah. Yes.
like
Something to talk about.
in reality, he's already done it. He's already put out his apology. There's nothing else to say. Just shut the fuck up. Just shut up. That's all he has to do right now is just shut up, walk the red carpet, don't speak to anyone, watch the movie. People are going to receive it how they receive it. What I am hearing, which is a constant, which is unanimous, is that he does a great job, or they do a great job. Like that is unanimous. Whether I believe it or not, I'm going to find out myself. But what I'm hearing is that it's undeniable. Ezra Miller is doing a great job. So if he just shuts up, doesn't say a
I mean,
word, then
he's been quiet,
he
man,
could
ever
come
since
back
all
with
that
us.
shit popped off, right? Like that's something we've all seen. There hasn't been anything other than people just talking about recaps of what he's done and what we're prepared for this film. Other than that, yeah, he's been quiet. He's been real quiet. He's been, I guess, on the path. Like I think, like John says in the comment section, until he gets counseling. So, and we do know that he was into rehab and all this other stuff. So he has been getting help and all and everything. But
Yeah, but I
was in rehab
guarantee
for
you
like
that
a week.
babysitter is probably somebody from the company, not somebody from.
yeah,
his
they're not
team.
gonna let just some normal dude out of them.
He was in like rehab or whatever for like a week or two. That's not rehab. And I'm not even sure necessarily rehab is what is needed. He just probably needs a fucking therapist.
Yeah, because
And lots of medication.
I had heard that there was a possibility that the reason why that they have a gag order on him is so that he doesn't individually talk to reporters or journalists on his own, but he will be speaking at the event publicly, like acknowledging, the film and the studio and all this other stuff. And I was like, bro, they could just have him wave, dude. Like they don't need to have it to where he's talking to nobody. Because I just think that it's like Trig said, like it's just bad timing. You had all of this opportunity to apologize and let people know you feel remorse for the way that you've handled yourself in several months or years actually, and then you choose the release of your film that you want people to go watch, and it just sounds very selfish. Very like he knows he has to apologize. Let me do it in front of these people so that way they see that I'm sorry and then everybody can go watch the film and love me. I really hope that it doesn't go that way. But I mean, Brian's church, man. I hope it does go that way because it'll give us something to talk about and laugh about and shit about the situation because that'll be like a whole new topping on the cake.
And I don't think you have to have some type of couth or just awareness to be able to do that. I wouldn't mind them doing that. The problem is I don't think they have that line of perception to where they could just stop it where it sounds good. I think that if they went down that path, it would go far left. Like it wouldn't, there's no parameters around their thought of their thought process and speaking off the cuff right then and there. That would be my concern. I wouldn't mind them doing it. It's just I don't have any faith that they would have any type of filter.
Yeah, to be
in
able to
doing
even
so.
control him while he's on there, right? They're gonna be like, cut his mic before
Yeah.
he just goes in.
And apparently neither do they. So they just said, you know what? No one speaks to him. No one gets access to him.
He
with
goes
that.
off and calls out the KKK and all that shit again, dude.
We're
That'd
coming
be
for
the
you.
best.
That was
would be
good
the best
times.
weekend.
That was a really good time.
That was a fun time.
That was
In
a
the
fun
Ezra
time.
Miller scandal, that was kind
Before
of
it got really nutty. you
yeah,
know?
until it got real cringy, dude. That was like top tier. Onwards to the next part. Speaking about a celebrity having a good conversation with people, there's gonna be some deep cuts for Taika Waititi lovers, but my boy Chris Helmsworth came out and spoke the truth recently on GQ magazine. Did you guys hear about this interview?
Negative.
Yes.
Dude, what did you guys think, man? I'm gonna bring it up.
Yeah. Well, let's tell the viewers and everyone that's listening what exactly we're talking about, because I don't
So,
know.
Chris Helmsworth had an interview this past week with GQ magazine, and in the magazine, he dropped a lot of I wouldn't know how to say it in the sense of like not being rude about it, because he dropped some very it was just like the Anthony Hopkins thing, because Anthony Hopkins did the same thing recently, where he was like, the Marvel movies were just dumb. They were just throwaway times for me. And yeah, I did them. I showed up on set. I dressed up, and yeah, that was it. They weren't very good or popular or anything like that. So with that, Chris Helmsworth came out and did the same thing practically on GQ. Of course, we had heard a while back where he said that he didn't want to work with any more mad scientists or super genius directors anymore, just all this stuff. He doesn't even know if he wants to come back. But in this GQ magazine, he literally told people that Love and Thunder was just that they were just being way too silly. They didn't take it serious. That the movie wasn't exactly what he wanted, and he said it was bad. He literally just said the movie was bad. Like, that's
Oh, well, that's
He
something
didn't
different from.
outright call the movie bad. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say that's different
let
from
me let me
someone
correct you
saying
on
that
that.
everything
Like,
is
he didn't
trash.
yeah, he didn't outright call the movie bad. He basically goes to state and say that like he couldn't see the direction that they were going because he's right in the middle of it. You know, like when you're passionate about a project like that, you're not really going to pay attention to some of the antics that go on. And, you know, like that silliness was kind of just going over his head. And now that he looks back on it, he realizes like, yeah, man, it was a little too silly for its own good. And I think that's where like it really hurt the movie. And, you know, like it was more of like, this is where it hurt the movie and saying, instead of saying this movie sucks.
well, he
I
came out and
appreciate
also
that.
said, yeah, he came out and also said it's always hard being in the center of it and having any real perspective. I love the process. It's always a ride, but you just don't know how people are going to respond. Then
That's
he
a
said,
really good. I mean, the way that it was
Yeah.
coming off was like he was shitting on the MCU or shitting on his movie. I think that's a very honest and objective way of looking at a project
Yeah.
that he put out. I
because
appreciate that.
even in the same interview, he talked about how he didn't like how they took the Ant-Man Quantumania film. He was kind of making a statement in the sense of like, well, why did they make it like a space opera? Like it's very close to like what they're doing with, of course, the Thor character, and then they take, you know, Aquaman, or not Aquaman, Ant-Man, and put him in the same type of format film where Chris Helmsworth says like it's very it's, you have to keep these separate for them to work properly. Like you got to keep all of these films like in their own realities or whatnot, or in their own themes. And he thinks the way that they handled his film and the way they handled the Ant-Man film were both very just not his forte. But he also said that it was too silly. I think we just had too much fun and it just became too silly. So, I mean, yeah. So I'm going to see if I can find more about it right now. Let me go ahead and bring this up.
So what does this say to you that he's coming out and being honest? Are you taking this as a positive thing or a negative thing? What do we think about this? Because I think this is a positive thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I take it as a positive. I mean, the interview I think he did is a positive thing for himself, and it's good for actors like this to speak out on their thing or on their work, because it takes them. It shows like, well, Chris Helmsworth, he's showing he has accountability. He's showing that the people that he worked with, there's accountability for it. And he acknowledges the fact, hey, you know what? Well, what we put out wasn't exactly what we wanted. And me as a fan, when I hear an actor say that, it makes me feel like, oh, okay. When they go for a next film, if they go for a next film, he's going to try to make it better, because he acknowledges the fact that this one wasn't great. You know, if Taika Waititi had treated it that way, I would have felt more I would have felt more intrigued to want to go see if Taika Waititi stayed in the Marvel universe. If think about it, if Taika Waititi would have been the person on this interview and he came out and said practically the same thing, how would you guys have felt about it?
I would feel the same way. It's an
Like,
objective. I
as
mean,
just
that's a very honest, objective.
yeah, it's noble. There's
Um,
something like noble and something like a genuine that he's like, hey, well, you know what? Like maybe I did go too far. Like I'm sorry. Like,
And you know, for me, it's not gonna make a difference anyway. I'm a Taika Waititi fan, so I don't
you're a
give a
Taika
fuck.
Waititi
Like,
fan. I get
personally,
that.
I don't care. Like, he doesn't have to
But
come out
wouldn't
and say
that
some
make
shit
you
like
look
that.
at his character a lot more better? Like as
Not-
in the field, like taking accountability for when you do something wrong and people don't like it. Because
no,
of
not
course,
really.
like I think, I mean, Triggs is usually the one that'll say this, but art is subjective. Like what is it? It's subjectable, or what do you say it?
Yeah, art is subjective.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if a casual amount of people like it or don't like it, because the consensus is going to be the same across the board. If you watch it, you go spend money on it, then you know that's it. That's the purpose. It's if you like it or don't like it. It's not what pays the bills. It's if people go watch it and pay the money to go watch it. But like for me, it's one of those things because there was that whole turmoil after where Taika Waititi came out and was kind of like, well, if you don't like it, I don't care. Or if you don't like it, I don't care either. If you do like it, I don't care. Like I'm just here to make movies and that's it. And I kind of feel like in this situation, like Chris Helmsworth, he's several times goes like above and beyond to make the fans happy. You've seen it before in many occasions where he's kind of like that Ryan Reynolds kind of guy that they're willing to go the extra mile to kind of make people around them, you know, feel a little bit more joyous about their occasions and whatnot and their events. So to see him do this,
I'm gonna play. Hold on, really quick. I'm gonna play devil's advocate to your last point. What do you expect Taika Waititi to do? Do you want him to come out and say I laid a dud? Like,
no,
do you
people won't do
expect
that.
him to
They're
do
too
that?
narcissists for that.
Yeah, so
They're
I'm
too
like,
narcissists.
I'm not exactly sure what you're expecting this guy to
No,
say.
but in the process of it, just because you can draw doesn't mean you're a great artist. But if you're going for the aspect of being a great artist and you get criticism, you could take it one of two ways. You could take it constructional, like you can take it as a fact that it helps you grow and you learn to be better and build and stuff like that. Or you just tell people to go fuck themselves. I'm doing my own thing, right? But what if it's the same thing I talk about when it comes to like this writer strike and stuff like that. Well, then if it's art and it's subjective, what's the statute of limitation on what's good and what's not? Should we be open to tell people in the census that it does suck and they need to realize it and then say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go be better.
Well, that's not how you're gonna. That's not how you're gonna. If that's what your goal is to do, and you're not going to achieve it by telling them. Like
then how do you achieve it by critiquing someone?
I'm gonna tell you. So
Yeah.
it's not by critiquing. It's as the consumer, we don't have to purchase or we don't have to buy what they're selling. That's the only way that these companies and these creators are going to get it. It's not by writing hit articles or voicing your opinions. They're not gonna give a fuck. Taika Waititi already told you can kiss his ass. But what you're gonna do is the next time he comes out with a movie,
You don't watch
buy it. Don't buy a ticket.
Yeah.
That's the only way. That's the only way that your voice is going to be heard. The same thing with, anything. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be about you writing an article or you going on getting a microphone in front of you and telling you that movie sucked. That's not how you're gonna get this guy's attention.
But where does that change then? Because like let's say you in the sense of a person in college taking communications classes or production classes or filmmaking, what is it to the director of the class, the teacher, to correct these students when it comes to making film when it's art and it's subjective? Is it because of the fact that he's a teacher or not? And when do you subjugate it for when you're not the student anymore?
You lost me on that one.
I get what you mean. I'll kind of take the reins on this one. With things like this, yes, art is subjective, right? And as a student, you have to be willing to follow directions. They usually give you like some sort of template or a format that you're sticking to, and you go from there, right? Then after that, it's your technique, it's your quality of production, it's the quality of the product that you also put out. That's also where your grading scale comes in, right? So while yes, it's still very subjective, there is still a format that like they're following as a student, and like I kind of hate to say it like this, but you're no longer a student when you fucking graduate or you drop out of college and you're not a student anymore. After that, you do whatever the fuck you want, dude. Like, at what point do you consider yourself a master? At what point did you consider yourself no longer a student? When you were learning martial arts.
Well, I mean, for me, it's never a thing about mastering anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, but then that's just to me being humble in the head, I guess, right?
Yeah, but that also that same line of logic can also be applied to the arts. Whether they're martial or
yeah,
film,
I know, I get that.
And
I'm just asking in general.
I guess like if I were to turn the question back on you, what exactly is the point that you're wanting to get proven? Do we want him to take accountability? Is that what you want to hear? Like perfect world, what do you want to have said to you or said to the world?
But that's just going to be based on my opinion.
Yeah, but
on how this is.
That's what he's asking. Your opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, it's one of those things as a consumer, hearing this person come out and say, well, I don't care if you like it or not. I made it the way I wanted, and it's good because I say it is. And your idea is bad because I'm right. Like, when I hear someone say that, I'm kind of like, well, like, I may be one person, but when the consensus of people are coming out saying, no, it is bad, you would assume that one person with millions of people saying that it's a bad movie, the numbers saying it's a bad movie, statistics coming out saying it's the worst Marvel film ever, the numbers showing that no one's watching it anymore, no one cares about it, the main actor has come out and said it sucks, or says that it was just something that he didn't think was going on at the time, and says he doesn't want to work with someone like you or people that are quote mad scientists, geniuses, or whatever he called him. You would kind of take that into consideration. That'd be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm being a little bit too much for these people. Maybe I do have to take some accountability for this.
No.
So at all, you don't think that there's a sense of accountability for making a shit film? So okay,
no,
so
because
first,
you hired me. No, you hired me. You knew this is who I am. This is me. This is my art. This is the vision that I have, that I project, that you paid for my services. Why do I have to change? If you don't like it, don't hire me for the next movie.
Yeah.
Why do I
they
have to
hired
change
him
who
because
I
of the fact
am?
on what he did for Ragnarok.
But that's
and they were hopefully getting the idea of getting another Ragnarok.
But Chris, what I'm saying is you hired me. Now, if I gave you Ragnarok, congratulations, I handed you this. But you hired me. You hired my creativity. You hired my vision and what I want to do for this character. So if you don't like it, don't hire me for the next one. But I don't have to change who I am because people didn't perceive this movie well. It's art. Like you said, it's objective. So because a lot of people don't like it, I'm not going to change who I am. Like, listen, I'm just playing an objective role here because I get it, and I don't think that was his best work that he could put forward, but I'm also on the side of the creator. That's like, we are creators. We are creators ourselves. You're a creator. Like, if you were doing a job for someone and it's not perceived well, I'm not expecting you to change who you are or the creator you are, Chris. I'm expecting you to be like, you know what? I hear that I wasn't the right fit for this job. So I will go somewhere and hopefully someone will hire me where I'm a better fit for them. But I don't expect you to change who you are. Does that make any sense?
No. Yeah. I don't expect him to change his personality, or I don't expect him to change as a person. But the sense is, as an artist, like, okay, like you put in this perspective, like, I do art, I'm a graphics designer, and when someone hires me, I sit at a table or I sit online and I do this kind of stuff, and I have a meeting and I ask them what's their vision, what do they want from me, and then I produce, right? But when I produce, especially when it comes to the art world or anything else, you usually produce a rough draft, like a rough blueprint. like a rough idea of like, okay, this is going to be what the finished product is. When I approach the person, I say, okay, well, here's my piece. And the person then says, oh, well, you know what? I want to change this. I want to change this. I want to change this. And then you say, okay, let me go ahead and I start working on that, because you're trying to get it as close to what they want. But the thing is I don't, and we don't understand this as a person on the outside of what Disney does and what Marvel does, is like, we don't know how much leadway they give to the directors to just be like, all right, guys, take it, give me what I need. And
so you don't think the executives at Disney get rough drafts or see the movies before they come out?
I mean, dude, with the way that this movie went, I don't understand how they let it go through if it was going to be that bad.
With what we know, with all the reshoots that they do with every movie.
Well, I'm specifically talking about Thor: Love and Thunder, like specifically talking about that was approached. And if we're talking in that format, they approached the higher executives, a group board, you know, a bunch of people. They sat there and they approached and they gave them this format. They gave them this entire film, and they had to sit there and watch it just like we all did. And to me, it's like, I mean, if I had seen all the Marvel movies and I sat there and watched the movie by myself, I would have still been disappointed, because I know it's not at the same, I wouldn't say style. I don't care about style, but storytelling capabilities as other films were. Like, it was just, I mean, it says it in perfect ways that Chris Elmer said it. It was really, really silly. It was really silly. And even with that, like, I don't know the consensus of like how kids accepted this film. Like, I want to know if kids really like the shit out of Thor: Love and Thunder, because maybe it's a kids film. You know what I mean? But then again, there's a lot of weird shit in it, you know, nudity, talking about orgies and all that other stuff that you can't make it a kids film. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like, yeah, if we're talking in the sense of an artist, there is some type of structure that we follow, and there was a blueprint given, and they let it pass. They thought it was going to work, and then now here they are. Like, I mean, how many films are in the DC or in the Marvel universe for this movie to pass, you know, being watched by the executives and it be like the worst ranked film in Marvel history, other than, I guess, Quantumania. Like, you know what I mean?
At that point, that's on them. I'm not gonna take full
responsibility
off of Taika Waititi, because again, I'm just playing devil's advocate, because I don't know exactly what people want this guy to do moving forward. But that movie was greenlit. Like, that movie,
that's why I'm just like,
saw it beforehand, and they decided to still put that out,
and they were like, perfect. They're like, let's go.
If they thought that it was going to be one of the worst perceived Marvel movies of all time, then they had the ability to stop it and reshoot or just scrap it.
Yeah. And that's my thing, is like, okay, like, if that's the case, then like I'm not saying like, okay, going back to the very, very beginning of this, I am happy that Chris Hemsworth or someone has acknowledged and taken, I'm not saying he has to apologize for it, but he's taking accountability to say, hey, you know what? Like, I think we got carried away. I'm not going to apologize, but you know what? Like, I see where people are coming from. I see where people are not, they didn't buy the sell. You know what I mean? And we don't got to gatekeep for it. But then again, him as an actor, this has stopped him from acknowledging the fact that he may never come back. Like, he may never want to be Thor again. I mean, I doubt that shit. I 100% doubt that shit, because he ain't making any other films. You know what I mean? He's making a couple of things. You know, he's working with the Russo brothers. You don't even like those guys.
I get what you're saying, but I think a lot of that is self-preservation as well.
True.
I think it's a lot of self-preservation in that, you know, people say this movie sucked. So let me just say, you know what? I hear you guys, and I'm acknowledging it, but he doesn't. And I'm not saying this is your point, but I'm just saying he doesn't. I don't think he necessarily owed that statement to anyone. He didn't have to say anything, to be honest.
No. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think any of them do. I just think it's admirable when they do it.
Yeah.
I just think it's admirable. And after watching this and seeing the GQ thing, and I was kind of like, okay, cool. Like, I mean, at least I don't feel as unvalidated as when it's just a bunch of us talking about we not liking the movie. and then someone from the actual film being like, hey, you know what, like, yeah, like it wasn't our best, you know what I mean, but it was a fun ride nonetheless, which I 100% agree. From what I've heard, Chris Helmsworth had a great time, laughing, joking, did a bunch of like ad-libbing on the film, like, and for what it's worth, they made a film, like, you know what I mean, they made a film. I hope that this isn't the last film he does, and yeah, man. But then again, it's like he's like one of the last of the original 6 or 10 or what is it from the for the first Avengers. He's like one of the last actors still around. So he, like, everybody else is kind of like retired, haven't they? You got Chris Helmsworth, you got Chris Evans, the Jeremy Renner guy, which God bless that dude. He's been picking himself up and dusting himself off after his crazy accident.
That guy's a fucking hoss, dude.
Dude, that guy's such a beast. Mark Ruffalo, what's her name? Scarlet Witch,
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. You got all these people that are still a part of the cusp, and most of them have left already. Jeremy Renner has to like retire for a little bit. Dude, I am gonna cry the first time that fucking dude makes an appearance back in Marvel movies. I just know I'm gonna get teared up because that fucking dude's life has been rough. Like, it's so crazy how much I'm so happy for that guy still doing good. But yeah, that Chris Hemsworth magazine thing was fucking crazy. I thought it was really funny. But again, I thought it was very admirable too for him to come out and acknowledge that it was a little bit too much. But shout outs to Chris Hemsworth. I love the dude. Hi, Mom. Hey, it's my mom. My mom's here. Have a good time in Corpus. She's on a trip. Yeah, she is on a trip.
Hello.
I do. Okay, guys. Last conversation today. I know it hasn't been much, but just some little knickknacks in here and there. So if you guys got anything you want to discuss in the comment section, let us know. If you guys are watching, we do appreciate each and every one of you guys. So going on to the last part of the conversations, I have to ask, there was something that was written in the group chat this past week on our Discord, and it was written by our boy Georgie. Shout out to Georgie. He was talking about the Alkalite film. Did you guys hear about this or no?
What about it?
I forgot what he posted about, but he was doing he was talking about Alkalite, and I thought, let me see if I can find anything on it right now.
Was it Lucas sued for egregious firing producer?
Is that what it was?
Well, no, sorry, that was in March. My bad.
Yeah. Other than that, oh yeah, are you on the Discord or what?
Yeah.
What did he put? What's the Alkalite post that he put in the podcast chat?
Yeah, podcast talk, dude. This is in March though.
If it was in March, it was probably something we had already discussed about Alkalite, right?
Yeah, Lucasfilm sued for egregious firing of producer on. Yeah, Karen McCarthy.
Oh yeah, we talked about that chick when they let her go, right?
Yeah, when they fired her for supposedly like wrongful termination and.
You know what? As a matter of fact, about talking about firing, did you hear that they fired the director of Buzz Lightyear?
Yeah, but I don't care.
But that was with this whole like purge that's been going on with all the Disney stuff, right? That's fucking wild to me, dude. That's wild that they're letting go of so many people at high positions. Yo, but I do have to ask. I just made the post right now, and I hope you guys are digging it. But this past week there was a huge rumor. And the rumor, first part of the rumor was there's a possibility that Disney is going to be selling off Lucasfilms. Did you guys hear about this rumor?
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do you guys think about it? Do you think that Disney right now, in their structures of their quarters, have lost so much money that they're in a possibility that they're liquidating a lot of their assets and different parts of the franchises are up for grabs?
Tricks.
Well, this is the first time I'm hearing about this. But if I am going to be honest, Lucasfilms outside of Marvel, outside of the Marvel films, even though they've put out a couple of duds when it comes to their Star Wars movies, The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Andor, even, these are still some really, really great IPs. They have some really, really big things coming up. I think it'd be dumb for them to sell it if that even is a ruin, like even has a hint of truth behind it.
True that.
I know that there's a closing of the hotel. But to be completely honest, I mean that's not exactly like all that concerning to me because they open shit up and close it all the time over in Disney.
And that was
Yeah,
just a bad business model in the first place.
Yeah, so I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it was fucking cool for the people who got to stay there. You know, it closes in what, September, right? Something like that, August.
It
yeah.
wasn't
Well, no,
even open
I
in a
think it
year.
just closed, right?
Yeah, well,
But
I
even
don't
in
think
the
it's
aspect
closed
of it,
yet, but I know that it's closing soon.
yeah. But even in the fact of it, like, isn't it like that for like parks in general to like close attractions like that on like seasonal stuff?
Well,
Like where they
there's a
keep it
difference between
open.
seasonal and closing it permanently.
So like, do you remember they used to have the Tower of Terror, right?
Yep.
And then the Tower of Terror then changed to the Guardians one that was the drop, which was the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. So like I guess they just ended up using the same what is it, like the ride itself, but they changed the whole theme of it. So do you think that there's a possibility they're just going to scrap this and just turn it into something else? I mean, they're not just going to like tear down a whole ass hotel and just leave it as is. Maybe they revamp it, maybe they resell it, maybe they do something with it, but I thought it was very normal for them to be closing off sections of the park to build other sections or reconstruct a whole area. And again, this is like the people that are like, oh, look at my baby. He's 358 days old. And you're like, whoa, just say he's a year and 3 months or whatever. Like this was open for 18 months, which was 2 years and 1 month. That's not too bad for a site, right? For Disney. What do you guys think?
You don't think opening a hotel and closing it within 2 years is a bad thing?
But we're talking about in a park, though.
I think
Like we're
that's
talking
even
about
worse.
in a park, as if it was just a regular hotel. Like you don't think that's casually normal if you were doing it as a themed area of the park for them to close it down and remake it into something else?
Within 2 years.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know the length of framing when it comes to stuff at Disney like that. I've never
Well,
even
that
been to
makes
Disneyland.
that's important. That's important for how long? If it was around for 20 years and they revamped it, then that would make sense. If it's been open for a year and you're revamping it after I don't know how much ever money you dumped into it, it's a little bit alarming.
Okay,
No?
so well, yeah, that's the thing. But I don't know like the structural timing when it comes to this. Like, what if that part of the Star Wars thing was they wanted to do it like kind of like a Galaxy's Edge, right? Galaxy's Edge is a sectioned off or created part of the park. What if they scrap that area and rebuild it into like Sith land or the
Let me
Star
let me let me
Wars
let me let me let me ask
Jedi
you this question
Academy or
first.
whatever?
Why would you think they would have to do that?
Oh shit, I don't know, man. I don't know why they would do that in the first place. Like, what do you mean in like in the sense of what?
Why would you think they would have to scrap or revamp within however long? Why
Oh,
would
because it ain't
you
working.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
right?
ain't working.
So
It ain't make
that's
money.
so yeah, so then that's alarming. So that kind of that kind of answered your question. Like no matter again, like the time frame. That's the reason why the time frame is important because if it's only been a year or two, it's because they're not making any money because the rooms, from what I remember, they were astronomical. But I don't want to nitpick the hotel. That's not the topic here.
Yeah.
The topic is George Lucas buying back Star Wars, and honestly, I don't see it happening. I don't see there being a world where Disney takes one of their biggest money making franchises and gives it back to the person that sold it to them. And first off, that's a very bad optics. And then not only that, but like who's to say from even a fan's perspective that that's something that's going to work out or something that's going to be good? Like the last time we saw George Lucas with any association with Star Wars was what? The prequels?
Yeah, roughly around the prequels. And then he was actually asked by Dave Filoni and what's his name? John Favreau to like they asked
Not
him
being
questions.
a
and shit.
consultant,
Yeah.
not being a consultant, but being in charge as what he would be if he were to buy
Oh no,
back
dude, they fucking
Star
canned his
Wars.
ass a long time ago. The moment that they bought the assets from him, they were just like, "Be gone, George, be gone." Because
So I'm
he had
saying
written out.
the last time that happened was the prequels. I would assume, right? And from
Mhm.
what I remember, the prequels did not get a good reception.
Not at the beginning. Yeah, not at the beginning, but everybody was like that. Everybody's like that. Like that's the situation. Is nobody likes it when people go back and reboot or redo another part, especially when there's a large gap of time in between, because you just feel or you fear like it's not gonna work. So like you look at the timing between the prequels and the original, and yeah, it was roughly from like the 80s to like what, I don't even know when the prequels were. It was the first prequel
If this
movie.
was strictly because my company was bleeding money, if I'm Disney, I have plenty of assets to sell off before I sell off fucking Star Wars. I would literally sell off everything before I sold off Marvel or Star Wars. There's just no way that it would make sense to sell off Star Wars. I have a lot of IP that I can sell. I got a lot of departments, a lot of things that I can sell off if the overhead is the problem. I don't see how that's a thing.
So the first film was released in 99. The second film was released in 2002. And Revenge of the Sith was in 2005. So then we look at
But in pre-production,
in retrospect.
you had a different opinion though. You were kind of like on board with this. What's your perspective
I
on
do. If Disney ends up in the situation that they're going with right now, where they're losing money really quickly, and they're doing drastic situations to cut corners, like they have a situation coming up with Comcast, as a matter of fact, because the Hulu, or them and Comcast both own stock or something in Hulu, right? And Comcast is going to drop that deal and leave it at 100% with Disney. And then
Mhm.
there's talks that Disney doesn't even want that acquisition. So
there's that even though they might not want that acquisition, if they've already put in a bid for it, as per the SEC,
yeah, because
might
they own
not even be
66% of Hulu.
Yeah, but they may not be able to back out of the deal. It doesn't matter if they don't fucking want it. Like if you've proposed your offer and you've engaged in all of that, then at that point, like, you know, it becomes a federal crime.
Yeah.
To back out of the deal like that. You know, that's you know, the Security Exchange Commission. This is the fucking dudes who oversee billion-dollar deals and shit like that.
So that's one part.
Do you know how much Disney is in charge of, bro? Like, they're in charge of a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah,
I'm selling.
They're no shit.
That's
like 30% away
with Mickey Mouse,
like 30% away from monopolizing like
yeah. Like I get it, dude. Like they're having a rough.
They're ADN in Succession, bro.
Dude, I'm telling you, like you're absolutely right. I'm telling you, like if they just because they've had a bad couple of years, I don't think they're stressed for cash. I just think they've had a bad couple. I think they just had a bad couple years. So for us to be sitting here contemplating whether or not a rumor that they're gonna sell, that they're in such dire situation that they're gonna have to sell off one of their top fucking IPs,
earning
and
that's not even the top of the lunacy when it comes to like them not having money and them needing to let go of something. I've heard in several other interviews and podcasts and all this other stuff that there are even rumors that they're planning on selling at least one of their parks from like the minor areas, which would be like their Japan site or their Paris
doubt they would
site.
ever sell the Japan
I don't
site.
fucking see it happening. I literally
I can maybe see Paris, maybe, but Japan would be the fucking dumbest thing ever. The first Nintendo Land ever opened in Japan and is a fucking hit. A fucking hit.
I'm getting rid of one of them parks. I'm getting rid of one of these TV stations. I'm getting rid of one of these apps that I have before I sell fucking Star Wars.
There's so many. There's so much
who
fat
the fuck
they can
is
cut
saying
from.
all of this, but give me a fucking source and then maybe I'll believe you. Show me what credibility you have, and then maybe I'll fucking believe you.
Yeah, because this is all coming from
this
like
shit is made by some dick fuck who like said it, and his sources, dude, trust me.
yeah. No, it always ends up being where it's like a someone has like an inside man, but it
And what's
always
his
comes
inside
from
man,
these-
bro. Just trust me.
But again, this goes off of the idea of when I tell people like be careful where you get your information from, because these are usually people who are anticipating for these companies to fail. Like they're wanting these companies to fail. So the moment that there's some type of opportunity to speak negatively on a situation, like they're all about it. They're all about that situation. So like in that, like, do I think that Disney is running out of money that they cannot produce or make a park work or do not make a film? Fuck no. They have money for days, dude. They have money for days. They've been doing this for shit. How long has Disney been open? Fucking 50 plus years.
Easily.
They've had, you know, there were talks 20 years ago that Walt Disney's head was still alive in the bottom of the basement because of, you know, fucking what cryotherapy and all this other shit. And now people are talking about that they're running out of money. Like it's baffling. It baffles me. I do.
So, go ahead.
Okay, go on.
No, I was just gonna say. So we're looking at it. We've talked at length about the business aspect of this, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to go into the fan aspect of this topic,
Yeah,
right?
That's what I was
Let's
gonna say too.
let's say there is a slim chance that this rumor is true. What does a George Lucas Star Wars ran franchise looks like in 2023? Are you guys excited about what that
I would.
looks like?
I'm excited for it. Actually, I'm 100% excited for it. If like just right now, because we were talking about this earlier, and we were talking about like, dude, George Lucas, like, what has he got, bro? He doesn't have that kind of money to buy this shit. Off the whim, his net worth is $5 billion.
Okay.
Like that's pretty good. That's
Oh,
pretty
very
good. Not
good,
to
dude.
mention, that's pretty good. So that means like if he wanted to, he could probably reach a couple of more investors, and they can get together and buy the assets.
He's
And
Gojo,
Bru-
dude.
You know what I mean? Like just knowing that he's worth 5 billion. If he goes to like 4 other billionaires with that type of money and say, hey, you know what? I want to rebuy Star Wars, Lucasfilms back from Disney. Would you be investors with me? And we can make that money within the next 20 years. I guarantee those guys are gonna be like, bet, let's go. You're George Lucas. Like, who's gonna fuck with you? You know what I mean? So like the possibilities I feel like are there. You know what I mean? But to see George Lucas come back, this guy, when he sold Star Wars, which to this day I still don't understand why. He said it was like he gave away his child. Like he was like, that was like his baby, you know what I mean? And he literally sold it away. And he's even talked about like how the last 3 films were just movies. They weren't really Star Wars films based on a story that he was writing. They were just a company making movies to make money. Which I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But for him to come back and to get, dude, there's no way George Lucas comes back and fucks up any more worse than the last 3 movies. Like goes and fucks it all up. There's no way. There's no fucking way. No
Dude,
fucking way.
that's the kind of guy who's gonna be like, if you don't like my art, don't fucking watch it. And anybody would be like, yes, sir.
No, but it's because like, you know, he's the guy who originated all this stuff. Like even now we're watching it to where like how excited are we when Dave Filoni comes out and makes like some episode of something and we're like, bro, that's really good because it reminds me of Star Wars. And then here we are that we get the originator of the series. He's not a million years old or anything like that. You know, he's about to hit 80, I think. Yeah, I think he's 80. So and he's out there, bro. Like, I mean, he's out there still available to make these films. Like, I would 100% be about it. 100% be about it. If you guys in the comment section would like to know, like, would you guys be interested in seeing a George Lucas film? Let us know in the comment section. John Castillo, my boy, says, a park can close an attraction due to not being popular, costs too much for repairs and renovations. That's what I kind of feel like is probably going on with that situation.
I think we have someone from Russia on Twitch.
Yeah, he says I don't think Disney would do that. Disney is a powerhouse right now in Star Wars and Marvel. Yeah, there's just no way. John says I would be excited if George Lucas were to rebuild Star Wars. That would be amazing. Buy back Star Wars. That would be amazing. So many fans. I would support it. New bed, but TVO Ito. What's up, man? Thank you for jumping in the comment section. I don't know what that face and rocket means, but nice to see you, man. And I saw Toasty with the Mosty. What's up? I hope you're still here. If you are, thank you for jumping in the comment section. We appreciate you, dude. But yeah, well, what about you? Do you feel, Brian, that George Lucas coming back, and if he had the opportunity to buy it, would you be excited to watch it? Because the thing is like with the prequels, he was involved and he did approach them with like the film and a script that he wrote. They threw that bitch out real quick. They were like, thanks, man. And they threw his shit up in there. They didn't even read it. They just like threw his shit out. But you're a big fan of the prequels. Would you like to see a George Lucas reinvented Star Wars?
No. And
like at all?
Honestly, no.
Oh.
Only because I am a fan of what Dave Filoni is building over there. I don't want that fuckbud. I've chosen to ride with Dave Filoni, and I want to see him play this out. Listen, I've gotten years and years of George Lucas's vision of Star Wars. Now there's new blood there, and I want to see a new take on it. I get it. It's like it's more of a nostalgia thing with George Lucas. But do I think he's the savior of Star Wars? No. I'm choosing to stick with Dave Filoni and or Jon Favreau. I think, and I've said it before, I'll say it here. Give those guys a shot. I don't think what they're doing right now is hurting the franchise. I think that they have a great vision for where they want to go. You can't deny that everything that Dave Filoni has come, like his original IP, has been good. It's been for the most part good. There's been some misses here or there, but I mean, I haven't heard an astounding cry that he's killing the franchise. So I'm riding with Filoni, bro. So George Lucas, dude, keep your $5 billion, stay at home, enjoy retirement, don't come back.
What if you brought it back as like,
man? You know, like if that's the case, and if that's the way that you feel, you know, let me ask you this: what if he took over Kathleen Kennedy's role?
I would enjoy that. That I think I would enjoy.
What if that was the stipulation? You know, that we got. You know, he's now in charge of
executive producing.
He's now in charge of Lucasfilms as an executive, and just an executive.
So here's the thing with that. That's a great question, actually. Trix, it's a great question. I think I would be okay with it, but if I had a choice, I wouldn't want it. You know why? Because Dave Filoni comes from what tree branch? From what family tree? He comes from the George Lucas family tree, right?
Yeah. Yes, he does.
So I'm looking at it from a perspective of he's always going to be in the shadow of George Lucas as far as I'm concerned. I want him to distance himself from George Lucas. I don't want any involvement with Dave Filoni and George Lucas. I kind of just want him to do his own thing. Honestly, I would just give the entire fucking thing to Dave Filoni. I would just give the entire thing. He would be Kathleen Kennedy. He would be the one. He would be the James Gunn of the Star Wars franchise, and I would just let him take me where we need to go. I would get out of his way. I wouldn't put any speed bumps or any hurdles in front of him like a Kathleen Kennedy anymore, or even bigger shadow like a George Lucas, because I don't think there's a world where George Lucas would be a Kathleen Kennedy and he wouldn't have some type of interference there. I don't see that happening. So although I do think that it would be fun for a fan, I would just rather it just be given to Dave Filoni. Obviously, I'm a fan, so I would just like him to take it over from.
But what if he was to buy the asset and turn into like the new Star Wars Kevin Feige? and you had literally like George Lucas sitting on top of Lucasfilms as the guy that made sure everything just went in the direction that he wanted it.
they would charge that man an egregious amount of money. He couldn't afford it.
You don't think so?
And not only that, again, I think that doesn't deter my answer. Like that would still kind of be in the way. It would still cast a shadow on anyone, not even just Dave Filoni, but anyone that's going to be directing these movies, executive producing these movies. Like I don't see a world where he's just, allowing people to be creative and let them do their own thing. It's still going to be his vision. And I don't necessarily think that in 2023, that's what I want right now. I want a brand new breath of fresh air, and not Kathleen Kennedy's fucking dumbass breath of fresh air. I want like Dave Filoni's vision. You have been putting that in front of me for the last couple of years. I bought in. Now I want to see it. So
yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with the sense of like how Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have been carrying the franchise. What they've been doing, it's been going very well. And
do you know behind the scenes that Jon Favreau has just been fed up with the interference of Kathleen Kennedy?
Yeah.
That's a major problem.
Turmoil, dude. Yeah. And you know what's even crazier than that is Kathleen Kennedy comes from the cloth of George Lucas. She was actually like handpicked by George Lucas to take over after he was gone. Like she was literally there for all the filmings, even the original 3 back in the day. Kathleen Kennedy had been a part of it, and it's gotten to such a point that a person like Jon Favreau,
as what, a key grip?
Like, no, she was part of it. She was like a part of the whole direction team. Like she was a part of, like she's been like George Lucas's right hand man for a long fucking time, and she was actually.
I know that. Yeah, so like I'm very well aware that Kathleen Kennedy was, cut from the same cloth.
But to know that it's gotten to this point where it's like, Dave Filoni and Favreau, fans of like the original the saga, the story that it had, for them to be in a situation where they do not care for it, like care for Kathleen Kennedy's like direction and what she's going with. Like there's a certain awkward situation that's really there, and it's really wild. It's really, really wild.
And I'm only bringing that up because it kind of is kind of helping my point of view in that people are getting in the way, and I don't want that. I don't want people getting in the way of the things that I'm actually excited about in Star Wars. Yo, we did not see fucking Pedro Pascal this entire fucking season because of Kathleen Kennedy and the turmoil between Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
They're fucking shit up.
And
I don't think,
and he's kind of over that. Like he was,
he's over Pascal. They're all over
about that.
Yeah,
Pedro Pascal is over it. Jon Favreau's over it, and to be honest with you, and listen, I love George Lucas like the next person. I don't see it being any different with George Lucas. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it would be more the same. So just get out. Just if you're gonna give this to somebody,
I'd have to wholeheartedly disagree with you on
that's
on
fine.
That
I mean,
part.
I can understand.
And the reason that I say that is because like kind of like what you were saying with the whole like cut from the same cloth, Dave Filoni and stuff like that. Like Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau both have fucking free reign to, to Skywalker Ranch, right? That's a very, very exclusive club. Go to that place. But my thing is that we have Dave Filoni, who's been in a position where he can create an IP, deliver it in a way that is not only widely accepted by the fan base, but wholly loved by it. Kathleen Kennedy has been kind of dropping the ball, has been, with a lot of interference and stuff like that. I would like to think, now granted, this is my own headcanon. I have absolutely no basis behind this, but I would like to think that George Lucas at his age and his direction would just be like, hey man, you know what?
Get out the way.
I'm here to assist. I'm here to assist. That is it. I'm here to make sure that whatever you put out is going to sell, because it is originally my idea. Let's see what you got. Fucking put it out. If you need any help with something, let me know. I'm here for it. I'm not saying that that's not what Kathleen Kennedy is or is not doing, but we do know that Kathleen Kennedy is kind of like, I don't like that. Don't do that. I don't like that. Don't do that. Pedro, make sure your helmet's on. I want to make sure that your helmet is on all the time, and shit like that. So, like I said, this is me, just my headcanon. This is what I would like to think what would have happened if George Lucas came back. And on top of that, maybe he can help, fix some of this, broken cohesion that we have within the, the Star Wars mythos. Maybe he can, I'm not at all going to say that like there's going to be like some, like, oh, hey, we're stuck with what to do with this brand new trilogy that's about to come out. What should we do? I'm more than sure Dave Filoni knows exactly what he would like to see for it.
True that.
Yeah.
Me myself, I think
And
it'd be
I
cool to get
honestly,
George Lucas
go
back.
ahead.
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
gonna say,
Why?
Why
though?
I just feel like he had a personal vision for his own project from the very beginning, and now it's cool because he's had the opportunity to see how other people took it, and I still think that there's like a story to be told on how he wanted the actual Skywalker saga to end.
So you're fine with him coming in and just, I don't want to say he's going to scrap
Derail,
everything. Yeah, I don't want to say he's going to scrap or derail everything that we've
No, just the
that we've
last
seen
3 movies.
so
I think
far.
he'll scrap.
But I'm talking about just in general. I'm not even talking about like recent movies or whatever, but just in general, everything that we like Trick said is kind of like a unanimous acceptance of the Filoni verse. If he decided to go into a different direction, you're fine with that.
What I think he'll end up doing is, like I said, like I think they would allow the Filoni verse to continue to where it catches up to where like the Rey saga started, and then from there either revamp one of the trilogies or scrap all 3 canonically.
But
And
what
do
if?
their
But
own
what if?
version.
But what if? And we're just living in the world of what ifs. But like, there is a realm, or there is a reality where George Lucas comes back and says, "Well, I don't want any of that shit. Like, that's not my vision." Like you just said, like he has his own vision of where he would like Star Wars to go. What if that doesn't involve the Filoni verse? What if it doesn't involve Ahsoka?
Well, that's the
What if
thing
it
is
doesn't
like
involve
those
any of
2
that?
guys are a part of his. The Filoni verse is a part of the Lucas franchise. Like it's a part of his story that he wanted. Like the Ahsoka story, it's there. Like she was practically written in the Legends books, the Thrawn books. They're there. Those are all part of like the legacy stories that were canonically rewritten out. So like I maybe they don't take everything like a grain of salt, but there's gonna be a lot of stuff that they keep. I just feel like, or look, let's just shoot one in the dark, right? It's not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen anytime. Maybe they bring him back as a consultant, but they're not gonna ever sell to George Lucas. What if he came back and made a trilogy based on Luke Skywalker's life? Han Solo and Princess Leia is not concentrating on the children's lives, or not.
Oh, speaking
concentrating
of
on
which, there was a rumor that the actor that played Han Solo in that Solo movie, he's coming back for the Rey movie.
the young guy.
as like Harrison Ford's character, or
No, the one that played, what's the guy's name
Yeah,
that
in the
played
old school
Solo?
movie, right?
In the
Where he
no,
plays a
in the
young
new
kid, right?
yeah, in the new Solo
no,
Solo movie.
I
Wow.
know which movie you're talking about. I'm tracking.
Yeah,
you know.
no, he's coming back. There's reports that he's being asked to come back to play Han Solo in the new Rey movie.
How? I thought
I
they
don't know,
killed both
I put it in the Discord.
in the Discord, but
Is it
that's
on your
crazy
podcast
though.
talk,
That's,
In the podcast,
I mean,
yeah, Discord. I upload
but
that. Yeah.
canonically, that's fucking nuts, isn't it? Like, because Han Solo's just dead. He's fucking dead. He died in the first trilogy of the new series, didn't he?
Yeah, and was it Force Awakens?
Was it the Rey movie, or it's gonna be one of the upcoming movies? But that guy's supposed to be coming back. I might have
Okay,
gotten
I was
it
about to
wrong
be
with
like,
the-
I don't know
with the-
how.
with the Rey movie.
Either because he kind of Darth Maul,
Yeah,
in,
they Darth Mauled his ass, dude. They stuck him like a mashed potato ball. Or
yeah,
whatever.
dude. I mean, cool. Like I don't know, fucking bring back.
But you see, like this is the kind of shit that
Amelia
scares
Clark's
me.
character. Then
So it's
This is the shit that
Dave
always freaks me out
Filoni,
about Star Wars.
the Dave Filoni Star Wars movie. He's supposed to be coming back in that movie. It wasn't the Rey movie, so I stand corrected. It's not the Rey
Okay.
movie, but it's the Dave Filoni movie that he's making.
Okay, so
Okay.
it can kind of fluctuate between here and there. If it's about Ahsoka Tano younger, them kind of making it all make. But damn, dude, this is weird as fuck, dude.
dude, what about
'Cause
that?
what if
I know that we were shitting on Taika Waititi earlier, but do you still think that Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie is going to be coming?
Yeah.
Kathleen
And I
Kennedy
think it'll be
said
good
that
too.
it's still being made. She just had an interview. We talked about it on the show. She just had an interview not too long ago, a few weeks ago, where it was brought up that Taika Waititi movie, it's still greenlit. It's still being made.
Cool.
And I think it's going to be good.
That's it. You know, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I
on
think
that.
Taika Waititi will knock it out of the park. And the reason why is because
Oh, now you
everyone
think he'll knock
else
it out the park.
follows such a weird ass format for Star Wars. I don't think he's going to do that. He'll do his thing, and whatever he brings to Star Wars will be fun. Can you imagine if we got like a Spaceballs kind of like fucking dude? I'd be about
Yeah,
that. Life,
I
dude.
can imagine if I had a Spaceballs because I could
You know,
go
like a comedy
watch that
or
fucking
something.
movie. You
Yeah.
know, I could just go watch a Mel Brooks movie.
No. But I'm talking about like just a good fashion, like a super bad in Star Wars, just about some random people, like just comedy. I'd be
Chris,
about it, dude.
You would
I'd be
hate that
about it.
fucking movie. Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
No.
You
I'm
would
being
hate that
completely
movie.
serious. I'm so tired of like people taking Star Wars and trying to do something serious and fucking missing it. And
Yo, your
I've
whole
seen this
problem with Thor is what?
with Thor.
Yeah.
Ragnarok was
With the Taika
good.
Wait-
Thor:
what's-
Love and Thunder.
no,
I mean,
what's your problem with that movie, The Love and Thunder? What's your problem with it?
it's bad. It's bad.
Why?
It doesn't
No.
do anything for
How-
the
how is
character.
it
No,
bad?
why?
How is it bad?
Why? How is it bad?
Uh,
Why is it bad?
No character development. In fact, it goes backwards from Endgame because the character had a lot of character development in Endgame. He had lost everything and then gained his confidence back and became King Thor at the
You're missing
end.
the point. You're
Hold
missing
on,
the
hold on,
point.
hold on,
You're
hold
missing
on.
the point.
You're saying that someone can't make a comeback?
And it's not even
Twice?
that. It's not even that. It's not even that.
Yeah,
It's,
you
it's
want to come back
because
twice. How many times do you want this guy to like lose everything and come back and not grow from there and mature? Like he
Okay.
never. It's like they do that in every one of his films. He loses
your
something.
issue with the Love and Thunder movie is that it's too silly. That's the answer that I was looking for. You're
No,
telling
I'm-
me
I'm
that
breaking down all this thing. One, Thor himself as a character has no character development. It literally goes reverse from Endgame, where in that story he lost everything and then found his confidence and came back to be a hero. He had a hero's journey in Endgame, and it was probably one of the best ones that happened for Thor. You go to what Jane Foster's character, no fucking character development other than just her having cancer and then her glossing over it and making a joke that she has cancer. Two, they turn to inanimate objects that throughout all of the fucking movies never had personification. This time they're jealous ex-girlfriends. Three, well, fucking, what am I at? Like 4, 5?
Silliness. We're
Yeah,
now in the
no,
silliness.
Silliness is
Hell
one
bullshit.
thing. Thor Ragnarok had silliness, but it was good silliness. It was fun. It
Yes,
benefited
but
the
you know the
character-
jealous
characters
ex-girlfriend
all
thing.
benefited.
That's stupid silliness.
I had to sit here and listen to you trash and get on me about being a Taika Waititi fan and a Thor fan. And you're like, I get it. These were like the minor points, but your main point of the reason why you did not like this movie, which I had to hear about it multiple times for multiple
times.
weeks,
I didn't
was
bring it up.
because it was too silly. And now you're gonna sit here and tell me that you would rather see a silly Star Wars movie?
No, I would rather see a Star Wars movie in a different format
Okay.
rather than it be the same way it's been since the 70s.
Granted, but I think what he's saying is that the example that you highlighted was a silly movie. You know,
Dude,
like I mean,
okay, let me
it was
say
super
this so it makes it a little bit better. I would rather see Star Wars a variation of Ragnarok than what we have been in the several years. Does that make better? Because I just tagged Ragnarok.
I guess.
I'm not saying Taika Waititi can't make good movies. What I'm saying is having a different style of someone telling a Star Wars movie would be really cool. I think it'd be really, really good. Like, would you not be entertained to see like a Thor Ragnarok film, but in the Star Wars universe, like in that kind of like format? Look at how fun no matter how many people shit on it, it was still fun for the Solo movie.
Which one?
Because
Ragnarok?
it was in such a different format that we weren't used to seeing, that it was, better in the humor, cooler in the action, cooler and funner in the cinematography. Everything about it was just fun. It was just the fact that it was a story that was being retold that we already were comfortable with.
I can't
And
believe
we're
this
talking
guy,
about
Chris.
Ragnarok, right? I just want to clarify.
Okay, we're using Ragnarok as an example of, can we bring that type of fun in a film to a Star Wars film?
Okay.
And would
I
you be
mean,
about it?
Yeah, and I don't at all disagree with that particular fact.
Yeah.
Right? Like if we got like a Ragnarok-esque, Star Wars kind of film, I would have to almost kind of, highlight Solo, because that was a decently comedic movie.
It was fun.
Did it always hit its comedic points? Not always, but I understood that, like, where they were trying to go with it. On top of that, Han Solo is a very comedic character, all in a sense, like throughout the 50 years that he's been in media, he's been, a comedic character, the quick-witted, real, quick to joke kind of guy, so, we kind of already have a movie like that, and it didn't do well.
Which is the Solo movie, right? You're talking about
Yeah.
the Solo? Yeah. But what if it was something that was on its own creation? It didn't
That
have
is
a
its own
char-
creation.
No, because it falls back on Solo as a character. Like you already know that
but
character.
it was still a solo. I mean,
Yeah.
no pun intended. It was still a solo movie. It had nothing to do with the Skywalker saga to begin with at all.
I'm over the
Outside
Skywalker
of
saga
Darth
too. I'm
Maul's-
over Skywalker, dude. I'm over Luke, man. I'm over that shit.
You're just like, I'm just Star Wars out.
I'm not even Star Wars out. I just would like more characters than Luke Skywalker.
Then
I
what
get
it is it's been going with, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And like I would love to see like Cal Kestis or something like that, dude. I mean,
God,
Yeah,
dude.
there's-
Did you guys ever finish the game?
I still haven't even.
I haven't
gotten-
even-
I,
yeah,
I
I haven't
still,
even
I
gotten
still
the
haven't
game.
even gotten the new one yet, dude. I'm not even going. I'm not even going to cap.
Wait for
Damn,
that price
well-
point to come down, bro. Fuck that.
Dude, for real.
I heard it's
dog.
a short
Fucking
game, dude.
$70.
The Survivor, Jedi Survivor. I heard it's a short story game.
Yeah, I'll wait for that price point to come down. I'm not afraid to say fuck that. I haven't paid $70 for a game in ever, and I ain't gonna start now. So.
I've
No.
spent a whole lot of money for a video game, but it's going to be a hard sell for me right now. I'm pinching
Yeah,
pennies at the moment, my guy.
Yeah, but I've heard the game's good.
Oh, it's
I heard it's fun.
fantastic. Yeah,
I heard the
it's-
ending
it's-
has got a really good twist to it. I am still championing for you guys that you get Cal Kestis in the Ahsoka Tano series. I'm
You know,
rooting
and
for
I
you
would love to
boys.
see Ezra Bridger, dude. Another fucking Jedi.
He's
You
coming.
know,
That's 100%. He's coming. in this year.
I can't wait to see him on the silver screen. But who's that other guy? They referenced him very, very briefly in Obi-Wan. He's the dude with the dreads, and he's got that yellow line across his face.
That's the first ever
Something
Jedi.
Voss or something like that.
Yeah, that's Voss. Yeah, he's the guy that was like in the stories. He was one of the guys that actually created, like the Jedi. What is it? Rebellion.
Yeah, or some
Like
shit
he's
like
one
that.
of the first guys.
Yeah, Quinlan Voss.
Actually, he was like
that.
one of the first like Jedi Council members also. Val Voss or something like that. But yeah, he would be cool. But the thing is like every time they put him in, that's an Easter egg because he's like long dead before that. He's like super old. But he's from the Legends books, man. So that's a really cool character. I really enjoy
Quinlan
that character.
Voss.
too.
Yeah,
Which one?
Voss. Yeah, Quinlan Voss. I'm trying to
Or Quinlan
remember.
Voss.
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, if his thing was like he was one of like the first Jedi Council warriors or Jedi Knights in the Council, and one of the guys of the first like Jedi Order or something like that.
No, he was around during whatchamacallit. He's not that old. Asajj Ventress was one of his students.
Which one?
Asajj Ventress. White lady.
Oh, okay. Good shit, man. Good shit. But yeah, like it's a good question to talk about because I think Taika Waititi would do really, really well making a film for this. But then again, it's like Brian said. Brian makes a really good point. Like, I'm really tired of like the Star Wars saga. Like, even me as a fan of Star Wars, like I want something different. Like, I just don't want it to
Just the
interact with you.
Skywalker, yeah, just the Skywalker arc that specifically. I don't think
Yeah, like
Star
there's just
Wars
something
out.
about it. Like they
People
just
had
beat the
50
shit out of
years
this horse.
We're
dude.
good, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's because they've just beaten the shit out of this horse like so much, dude.
Don't get me wrong, like seeing Luke Skywalker at the end of Mando season 2 was fucking
cool.
awesome. Like that
Yeah, it
was
was cool. That
but
CG
to
wasn't cool.
yeah, but
Yeah,
in
the
theory,
CG was
it
kind
was
of
cool.
yeah.
In theory, it
I
was
like the
cool.
idea.
But I mean, like, yeah, giving me another Luke Skywalker movie or another show with a younger Luke Skywalker, I think I'm good on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be checked out of that one. There's, you know what? I would like to see like a Darth Bane or like something about either. I mean, yeah, we're getting the Rey saga, which is like after the Skywalker saga, but like
Still
that's too close
technically
for
like,
comfort, man.
yeah,
It's too close for me. It's just too close for me, man. It just falls. She even adopted the goddamn name. Like, leave it
last
alone.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, that's still wild to me, dude. Yeah, but apparently they're gonna be reviewing. They're gonna be coming back to the Rey saga. She's pregnant and had a baby. Fuck if I know how, but we don't know how people have sex in this world or have babies. Did that ever trip you guys out or no?
Actually, you know, there is I think Dave Filoni did come out and say that, like,
Was it handshakes or what?
no, the Jedi are like, if they need like a physical release, they just get one. Like, that's what they consider it as. It's just a physical release.
They
you know?
play us, boy. They don't need no love. They just for the
Yeah,
streets,
like,
man.
I mean, like I'm not doing this because I love you. I'm just, you
Yeah,
know,
I got no emotion in this,
yeah,
baby.
man.
I'm here to
Yeah,
clap
dude,
cheeks.
I mean, I'm going on mission, right? I'm just trying to get my head clear.
Fucking Dave Filoni making everybody in the streets Jedis now, dude. Everybody out there claiming to be Jedis
For the
now.
streets, dude.
Just spraying midichlorian all over the place.
I thought you were gonna tell me like, nah, dude, they get people pregnant just through their minds, dude. I was like, these guys out there mind raping people. You know what always pissed me off, and I just came to fruition this idea the other day. Darth Vader, in all his grand glory, was like murdered and left out in a burning lava pit with no legs and no hand, all fucked up. And the Emperor
Should've went for the
shows
high
up
ground.
and is like, "Man, you smell like a burnt hot dog. Let me get you into the medical table." And on the thing, and the robot saves him. And Padme just had 2 kids and just got wiped out. Like, the medical droid couldn't save her off of pregnancy.
Sometimes it
They
bees
fucking-
like that, kid.
They fucking saved Ming Na Wen's character with a hole in her stomach. Gave her stomach a whole new, like, what a fucking Hemi.
Yeah, but they actually say how Padme died in the movies. Though.
What did she die of? A broken heart, right?
Yeah.
Some stupid shit.
Yeah, that's like,
Fucking
yeah, and like I hate to say it.
Don't
that,
give me
right?
this freaking
Like,
trigger.
I'm not defending the film. I'm just saying, like, there is an
Anakin,
answer.
You're breaking my heart. Like, dude,
Yeah, dude,
you're
like,
going down a
fucking
path I cannot follow. I was like,
Yeah,
bitch.
well, I guess you're not gonna follow him now for sure.
I was just
Damn
thinking
sure
about
not
the other day.
following
It's
him
like the like, of course, there's always symbolism in Star Wars movies. The Sith had this robot that could save Darth Vader from like coming back from nothing, and Obi-Wan's droid couldn't save Padme from having babies, dude. And I'm guessing, like, I guess her windpipe was closed. I'm guessing. I always kind of choked it up for that. Do you guys remember
Dude,
that whole scene?
you put
He
whatever
force
headcanon you-
choked
yeah.
her, but
Yeah, he force choked her, and I was like,
go ahead and put
maybe
whatever
he, like, crushed her
headcanon,
windpipe
like, you
and she
know,
just-
that you want, but like they gave you an answer.
yeah, dude,
know.
because I was not about that dying of a broken heart bullshit, dude. Not
it served
at all.
honestly. It served kind of as a purpose. Like that reason is the reason why Darth Vader was able to bring
Stay
things
alive?
back to life. No, it's because he was able to bring things back to life because he lost her, and so that's he trained until he was able to start bringing things back to life and not
Yeah,
having
back to
things
life.
die on him.
And then he fucking.
So
kills
it
his
kind
shit.
of had a payoff there, I think.
Yeah, it was just wild. I was thinking about that today. I was like, wait a minute. Padme died just having babies.
Why do you think
And-
they never explored that aspect of Darth Vader?
Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean?
That he can bring shit back to life.
Well, that was okay. So that was like that's from the what is it? The Darth Plagueis? Darth Plagueis the Wise was the Jedi that apparently learned that he could manipulate life and death. And that's why Anakin was so enthralled with wanting to learn to be a part of the dark side. But I don't think Darth Sidious ever taught him how to.
I
So
think
he just went off on like the ancient stuff, trying to like pick up stuff. But
yeah,
like, why
Darth
you're
Vader's
saying like, Yeah, he
Darkseid
never learned the skill.
never learned it from him, but I
Yeah.
do believe he
Like him going around
he
like in
got
the
that
future
shit.
series.
Yeah, like he mastered that shit.
Because I know that the way that because Obi-Wan figured it out. Not Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon.
Mhm.
And Qui-Gon's way of surviving death was learning to use the Force to continue to live. And that's why he was one of the first people to be able to be a Force ghost, Qui-Gon Jinn. And then Qui-Gon Jinn then
Suck on
had
that, Yoda.
then he had confirmation by practicing with Yoda, and then Yoda mastered, being able to do the dark side shit. And then all of a sudden, every motherfucker could just come back as a ghost. But that's why, like, just you didn't have just a bunch of fucking force sensitive assholes just going around ghosting everybody. That's why it only started at Qui-Gon. Then it went to Yoda. Then it went to Obi-Wan. Those were the only three. Then at the end, you had Darth Vader, young and old, which was weird as fuck. But then again, like, Han Solo did it. So I guess anyone can force ghost as long as you're, I don't know, because he was clapping cheeks with Leia. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, dude, the Force is contagious.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. That's how she learned how to fly in space, dude. She didn't use the Force. She just know how to fly in space. Yeah, that was always just a weird thing to me, but yeah, I don't know why that even came up. I was just like, you know what? As a matter of fact, I do have something that came up that I wanted to talk about, and this is for Triggs, actually. Triggs, how do you feel, comic book lover? Oh, you know what? Yeah, Brian, you know about this shit too. I think you're familiar with these guys too, because I know your comic book knowledge is pretty vast. But I don't know if you ever read Jonathan Hickman's The Ultimates.
I have not, no.
No, so that's where like Miles came from. That's where the Nick Fury, Sam Jackson came from. That's like where a lot of those
Well, Brian Michael Bendis is the one
styles, like those styles of characters when they're drawn that way.
Brian
came
Michael
from.
Bendis is the one who
Michael Bendis.
Yeah, is the one who started with.
Well, did you hear
Miles.
that apparently they're about to do a new arc where they were going to bring the Ultimates universe back?
Yeah, that's been in development for a while. I'm fully aware of that.
It's brand new, boy. It's brand new.
Yeah, I know, but that's been in development for a minute.
So how do you feel about this? I gotta ask that. I mean, just as a comic book guy, the Ultimates universe was always a really cool story.
Like, I'm actually pretty okay with it. Like, the Ultimate Universe actually did quite well. There's a reason why it was super anticipated. For in Secret Wars, when you finally got to see 616 and the Ultimate Universe like interact with each other. Outside of Peter and Miles, you'd never seen that before. So like we were like, oh well, fucking shit.
So I guess I could say that the easiest way to explain what the Ultimates universe is it's our world with superpowers. Like if our universe had superpowers, that would technically be what the Marvel universe, Ultimates universe. In that world, like Thor, they didn't believe Thor was an actual like Norse god. They thought he was a crazy dude who just had a technological hammer and belt and a chest piece, I think, that he wore. And that was the whole beginning of do you remember the first Thor movie, Brian?
Yes.
Do you remember when he's sitting in the police station and he's by himself and then Loki shows up in the suit for the first time?
Okay.
So that scene is almost literally one for one from the Thor story in the Ultimates universe.
Okay.
And they went ahead and the police and everybody around him, of course, just like in that, does not believe him to be Thor because he is Donald Blake at the time on Earth. But that's like his secret identity, I guess you could say. But he's telling people, no, I'm actually Thor, the god of thunder. And people then think he's a crazy person. And then while he's under arrest, like Loki shows up and tells him like, you're actually just a normal dude. You're not even the actual god. Like you're fucking freaking out. Like, and it's a really cool scene in the comic. And it was so cool to see it live action too. So there's a lot of like one for one parts from the Ultimate Universe that are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Even Captain America's uniform in the first movie and then into the second part where it's more like that soldier-esque costume where it has like the real helmet and then later on it changes to like a helmet with actual goggles on it and like this chin strap and the leather. Like there's some really, really cool parts, really, really cool parts. And I even want to say like the way that they established T'Challa was very much more like the Ultimates version more than the 616 version of T'Challa. So it's cool. I thought it was cool. I saw it this week that they're making a run for it to bring it back after Secret Wars, because all of this stuff is still based on Secret Wars. So excited to see where they're gonna go from it. I just wanted to get your point on it, Triggs, because I know you're still out there reading. Are you out there reading anything important, dude?
Right now, the most important thing that I'm reading is Sins of Sinister.
Oh, okay. Good shit. Good shit.
Yeah,
Good.
so that was like a really convoluted story.
Yeah.
I actually just like as everybody knows, like I have like 3 main story arcs in Marvel that like I can't fucking get enough of, and that's Siege. Either like I'd really have to tie this with either Civil War or Fear Itself and Secret Wars 2015.
Okay.
Right, time runs out, you know, and Secret Wars 2015.
Good shit. Good shit.
So, like, especially Secret Wars and Time Runs Out, once a year, I will re-listen to all of those stories and just, like, get my fucking rocks off with it and be like, God, dude, this is such a good story. Fuck yeah. You know, and I just finished doing that. So, you know, I'm re-caught up with Brian Michael Bendis's, with Jonathan Hickman's Avengers and New Avengers and Time Runs Out and, you know, all of that jazz.
Sweet. So, boys, what do you guys have planned this weekend?
Shit,
Brian?
man, I'm just chilling. I'm not doing a goddamn thing.
You kicking it this weekend?
Just chilling. Yep. Nothing
Nice,
planned. That's it. I was
You gonna be joining
actually,
that Fortnite download or what?
not really. I was invited to a Yankees game tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm gonna go, dude.
Yankees game, dude. That's so fucking cool.
Derek Jeter should have shot him.
No, I don't even watch baseball, but I would fucking love to go to a Yankees game one day.
Been to plenty of those. I don't know. I might go.
Cool, man. Cool. Triggs, what about you, man?
Honestly, man, I'm just gonna hang out. My dad's in town, and so you know, hang out with him and you know, the little sister and stuff like that. And her and I actually might go out tomorrow. Not sure, you know, but yeah, man, we'll see what's up. You know, honestly, man, it's gonna be a quiet weekend. Quiet weekend for me.
Sweet. Hopefully, I find enough time to go out and fly my little dude.
Yeah, man.
Get my little drone action going on. I'm really anticipating that I get a little bit of free time, and the weather is
Permitting.
not being a cunt.
Yeah.
And yeah. So guys, probably gonna end the show there. I hope you guys had a good time. Brian, I hope you're being safe over there, man, because the way that you're talking about the weather it's scary, and I hope you guys are being healthy and doing something to protect your lungs.
Really,
and shit,
dude. I hope you guys are all right out there, man. I've been watching the reports and stuff like
double
that.
Masked up. We just double masked
dude,
up.
because like I was gonna ask you, because I mean, out of just concern, right? And this is just off topic. Like, do you have like your air condition? Is it like a big air conditioning unit for your whole the neighboring rooms and stuff, or is it like an individual unit?
Air conditions don't. I mean, like in general, it's an air conditioner just for my room. But pertaining to this situation, there's not much. There's not much you can do because the AC just brings the shit
air
from
outside.
Yeah, so there's. I mean,
very little filtrated, like the filtration.
Yeah, well, not like this. Yeah, not
so
this
for
situation.
situations like this, I would assume the stock prices of air filter or just air purifiers,
Yeah,
the air purifiers that went through the roof over the last couple of days here on the East Coast. But yeah,
I'm sure the homies from like where we are shipping you guys fucking 6 air purifiers for your living room alone. And
I send you guys care. I'm gonna send you care packages, Brian, if you don't watch out, man. I'll be sending you filters all day long, man, making sure you guys are safe. Well, I hope you and your family are safe out there, man. And I'm sorry to hear about the situation with the fires in Canada coming your guys' way. Be safe.
Fucking Canadians, man.
Yeah, fucking Canucks, bro.
Yeah,
fucking
dude, fucking hosers, man.
Can't they just stick to their fucking syrup and waffles, those assholes?
Yeah, dude, and their sausages.
Them other immigrants, man.
Yeah.
The brothers to our side. All right, boys. Well, it was good hanging with you guys. Thank you guys so much for being with us, and I hope you guys stay safe for the weekend. To all our extraordinary listeners, we appreciate every one of you, and I want to thank you to the guys on Twitch that came in today. I don't know if you guys are still out there. I don't know if you guys are still watching, but yeah, the Russians came in and did a little bit of a raid, and we really appreciate it. And I want to say thank you very much. And
who knows, man?
Yeah,
Maybe they're Ukrainian. You know.
Yeah, maybe they're ukes. We hope you guys have a safe weekend. Stay safe. Stay with your loved ones. Have a lot of time. Enjoy life. And we'll see you guys again here next Friday here on the Average Boys Podcast. Ready to give you guys some nerd news. We'll see you guys. Laters.